rena le go tšhireletša kgatlhanong le tšona digogwana tše e leng gore maikemišetšo ke go senya.
Another interesting aspect is the matter of regulating the security industry within the country.
Gape ntlha nngwe e bohlokwa ke gore re laole industry e ya tša bohlapetši ya tša tšhireletšo security ka mo nageng.
We all know this industry is one of the hugest and one of the biggest providers of employment in this country.
Re tseba botse gore ye industry ke yona e nngwe e leng gore e hlola mešomo ye mentšintši ka mo nageng.
In a certain aspect, this security industry is larger than our security forces, the national military as well as the South African police force.
Bjalo ge o lebeledišiša yona industry yane ya security go e lebediša ke e kgolo kudu e feta sesole sa rena sephodisa sa rena ke batho ba bantši kudu.
This is a powerful organization in our country, and they should be regulated, but they should also cooperate in making our country a safer place. I therefore urge people in that industry to have a very good look at the suggested amendment bill.
Ka nnete industry yane ya security ke yone industry ye nngwe e le gore e na le maatla a mantši kudu gomme ka gore yalo re santse re netefatša gore re a e laola ka tsela e le gore namile ba tlo kgona go tlo laolega ba se ka kgwetše le gore namile ba ba le maatla a go feta a tšona di-agency tša polokego tša naga.
In closing, Chair, I would urge us to use this platform to advocate a balance between security and liberty to ensure the protection of our nation while safeguarding the rights and the freedoms that define us as people. I thank you and very welcome and all success to you.
Pialo ka lentswe la ka la go tswalela ke re le amogela gomme bjalo ke re a re keng re lemogeng ntlha ye ya gore ge re netefatša gore naga ya rena ya tšhireletšega a re keng re gopoleng gore ge re dira sona seo re se ka gataka ditokelo le tokologo ya badudi ba Afrika Borwa. Ke a leboga.
Thank you, MMC. You have already made my life much easier.
Re go leboga MMC o šetše o dirile bophelo bja ka bonolo kudu.
As I've indicated earlier on, I am Beki Hadebe with an H.
Bjale ka ge ke šetše ke hlalošitše pijana ke nna Beki Hadebe go ngwadiwa ka H.
The chairperson of this ad hoc committee, due to unforeseen circumstances, he could not join us today.
Modulasetulo wa komiti yane ya nakwana ka baka la mabaka a e le gore o paletšwe ke go bonelwa pele o paletšwe ke go ba le rena fa le kgono.
Please accept his apology. I will be the acting chairperson of this session today and tomorrow.
Hle amogelang mantšwa a tshwarelo o paletšwe go ba gona ke mme ke tlo ba modulasetulo wa gore o tlo ba sepetša ditaba tše le kgono le go sasa.
We are an ad hoc committee on the General Intelligence Laws and Amendment Bill.
Re komiti ya nakwana ye e leng gore e lebane le go lebelelana le melao o ba kere molaokakanywa wa phetošo ya melao ya tša bohlodi ka kakaretšo.
With me, I have parliamentary staff members, support staff, and managers that are assisting us. We also have our interpreters.
Bjalo ba mfarafarileng ke bona ba šomi ba go tšwa ka parlamenteng bona ba thekgi ba rena ba komiti yane gomme gape rena le bona bathuši ba maleme.
Everything we say and do will be recorded, and all your inputs and contribution will be noted down. So be rest assured, whatever you say will be considered, as we have our lovely staff, interpreters, and recordings.
Se sengwe le se sengwe se e leng gore le tlo se bolela aowa le ska tšhaba le iketleng le tsebe gore se a rekotwa. Rena le batho ba e le gore ba re thuša ka mošomo owe gomme rena le bona ba e le gore ba tlo re thuša le ka maleme.
Let me take this opportunity and allow honorable members to introduce themselves starting on my right.
Ke tšee sebaka ke fe maloko a go hlomphega wa palamente sebaka sa gore ba e tsebagetše ke tlo thoma ka letsogong la ka la go ja.
Sanibonani. Good morning. My name is Bulelani Makwanisha. I'm the member of the committee.
Good morning to you. My name is Diane Kohler-Barnard. I'm also an MP and member of this committee, and I've just seen the Inspector General of Intelligence. Welcome, sir.
Morning, everybody. My name is Dirk Stubber. I'm a member of the Ad Hoc Committee.
Kgotsong, good morning, Teboho Loate, member of the committee.
Thobela. La ka lebitso ke Thabo wa ga Mmutle. Ke mo leloko wa committee e jwale ka alternate. Ke a leboga.
Thank you so much. We are a multi-party ad hoc committee.
Ke le leboga kudu re komiti ya nakwana ya go ba le maloko a go tšwa mekgatlong ya go fapafapana ya dipolotiki.
As I've indicated earlier on, that we are here to consider the General Intelligence Laws Amendment Bill. In short, it's called GLAB.
Bjalo ka ge ke šetše ke hlalošitše pijana re fa go tlo lebeledišiša wona molaokakanywa o e leng gore o lebeletše go fetola melao ya tša bohlodi ka kakaretšo ka boripana re bitša GLAB.
So let me briefly explain and give a background about this bill. So when I'm saying GLAB, you must understand that I'm referring to the bill.
E re ke re ka bokopana ke tlhaloše gore molaokakanywa o mabapi le eng bjalo ge ke fela ke re GLAB le kwešišeng gore ke bolela ka ona molaokakanywa wo.
So we are aiming to address the shortcomings in the South African intelligence services with this bill.
Bjalo ka ona molaokakanywa wo re lebeletše go tlo rarolla ditlhohlo le mathatana a e le gore a gona ka mo ditlhongweng tša Afrika Borwa tša bohlodi.
In 2009, the intelligence services were restructured using a presidential protocol.
Ka 2009 ditirelo tša bohlodi di ile tša bewa leswa go šomišwa yona tshepetšo ya yena mopresidente.
My apologies, it's presidential proclamation.
Tshwarelo goba ke yona polelo mmolelo o e le gore o be o itšwa go wena mopresidente goba yona taelo.
Now, that presidential proclamation led to the National Intelligence Agency and the South African Secret Services to be amalgamated.
Bjalo yona polelo ya newe goba taelo ya mopresidente ile ya dira gore agency ya bosetšhaba ya Afrika Borwa le
The South African Secret Service Agency to be amalgamated.
le agency yana ye ya Afrika Borwa ya ditirelo tša sika tša ka sephiring gore di kopanywe.
Now, that process of amalgamating the two services using the presidential proclamation was declared irregular.
Bjalo tshepetšo yona ewe ya go kopanya tšona dihlongwa tše pedi go šomišwa yona polelo goba taelo ya mopresidente ebe tshepetšo yeo e be e se molaong.
Now, in terms of the Constitution, Section 199, the president can only establish intelligence services through a legislation and not a presidential proclamation.
Bjalo go ya le ka molaotheo section
199 of the Constitution, it says the president can only establish intelligence services, a legislation, and not a presidential proclamation.
Bjalo ire mopresidente a ka tsebagatša tšona diphetogo tšeuwe ka go tsebagatša molao e seng fela ka go ntšha polelo namile go a direga.
Even though in the past years there were attempts to rectify that legislation mishap, problems arising from amalgamation still persisted.
Le ge mo mengwageng ye mmalwa e fetilego go ile gwa ba le maitapišo a go rarolla bothata beno bo ba go kopanya tšona di-agency tšeo tše pedi mathata a sa no bonala.
Hence, in 2018, the president established a high-level review panel which was chaired by Dr. Signi Mufumadi on the state security agents.
Ke ka foo ka 2018 yena mo presidente a ilego a bea yona high level panel ye e leng gore e be modulasetulo wa yona o be a e le yena mohlomphegi Sydney Mufamadi.
It is that high-level review panel report that brought us here today.
Ke yona pego ya yona high level review panel yeo e le gore re kopane ka yona mabapi le yona lekgono.
What are the aims and main objectives of this bill?
Ke afe maikemišetšo a magolo a wona molaokakanywa wo?
Firstly, we seek to amend the National Strategic Intelligence Act
Sa pele re leka go fetola wona molao wo wa tša bohlodi wa tša maano a tša bohlodi wa bosetšhaba,
the Intelligence Services Act,
molao wa tša ditirelo tša bohlodi,
the Intelligence Services Oversight Act, and other acts that relates to intelligence.
molao wa go tlo tlhokomela ditiro tša yona lekala le la bohlodi le melao ya go sepelelana le yona.
As a result of the recommendation of the high-level review panel, the bill seeks to undo the establishment of the state security agency.
Bjalo ka ditirelo tša yona high review panel yona committee e rata go fetoša goba go bušetša morago taba yane ya go hlongwa ga agency yane ya bohlodi.
We want to re-establish the South African National Academy of Intelligence.
Re nyaka go bula academy goba sekolo sa bosetšhaba sa Afrika Borwa sa mo e leng gore bana ba tlo ithuta ka tša bohlodi.
We want to provide a legislative mandate for bulk interception.
Re nyaka go netefatša gore re ba le melao ye e leng gore e tlo kgona go thuša mo e leng gore re tlo kgona go thibela le go bona tshedimošo pele go e ba le tshenyo.
We'll recall that there was a constitutional court judgment that declared the bulk surveillance unlawful.
O tla gopola gore go ile gwa ba le kahlolo ya molaotheo ya kgorotsheko ya molaotheo mo e leng gore ba ile ba re yona tabane ya go thibela tshedimošo ba re ga e molaong.
We also seek to provide for the regulation of cybersecurity, protection of information and intelligence.
Gape re lebeletše gore re tle re kgone go lebelela le taba ya tšhireletšego ya mo marangrang a technology le ona mo go tšona dikgokaganyo tša leago.
I thought I should give a brief background of why we are here.
Ke ka ona mantšhogo ke be ke gopotše gore go ka go botse gore ke lefeng kakaretšo ya lebaka leo re tlile go fa.
Today, it's an opportunity for you as the public to participate in the making of the law of parliament.
Le kgono ke sebaka sa gago bjalo ka moduli wa setšhaba go tla go kgatha tema mo go thaleng molao wa palamente.
Public participation is very important and plays a key and pivotal role in the construction of the laws of parliament.
Tshepetšo yane ya go kgatha tema mo ditshepetšong tša go thala melao e tloga e le bohlokwa kudu gomme go bohlokwa kudu gore setšhaba se akaretšwe ka go thalwa melao.
Public participation is promoting a sense of ownership, trust, collective responsibility, and ensure that indeed democracy is live and active.
Gomme go kgatha tema ga setšhaba go tliša ntlhaela ya gore o ikwe gore molao wo ke wa ka ka baka la gore o ile karolo ya go thala molao gomme gape o tlo netefatša gore bohle ba ba le maikarabelo kudu-kudu ge re tlo tla nakong ya gore re phele le go latela molao wo re o hlamileng bjalo ka setšhaba ka kakaretšo.
So this is how we're going to work moving forward in terms of making our inputs.
Bjalo ke tlo laetša gore tlo ba re šoma bjang ge re tšwela pele mabapi le go tlo ntšha maikutlo a lena le mebono ya lena.
Today, there won't be any point of orders. No one will be out of order today.
Le kgono a gona motho e leng gore o tlo emiša seatla a re ke ema mo ntlheng ya tukišo a gona e leng gore se a se bolelang re tlo re se tšwele tseleng.
So feel free to raise whatever you want to say as long as it's in relation to the bill.
Lokologa go ntšha sa mafahleng bolela se sengwe le sengwe se le rata gore o se bolela solang ka se sepelana le ona molaokakanywa o re tlileng ka ona fa le kgono.
But you only have 3 minutes to do so. Only 3 minutes.
Eupša o ne le metsotso e meraro fela go ntšha maikutlo a gago.
I'm going to take hands. If you want to say something, you will raise your hand. And as soon as I note you, I will give you a number. You will occupy the front seats.
Bjalo ke tlo tšea diatla ge ke sena go bitša o tlo tla mo mothalading wa ditulo tša mothaladi wa ka pele gomme o tla kgona go tlo hwetša sebaka sa go sa go bolela.
When you took to the podium, first introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you come from, the ward, and if you represent any organization or association, please indicate as such.
Bjalo go e tla fa pele o tlo no re tlhalošetša gore wena ko wena mang wa re botša gore o tšwa kae mohlomongwe wa teo le gore o tšwa yona ge e le gore o tlile legatong goba o emetše mokgatlo o itšeng o ka no re tlhalošetša gore ke emetše mokgatlo wa mohuta wo le wo.
Remember, this is not the form of public participation. The notices were sent as early as mid-December last year for written submission, and the closing date at the time, the 31st of January 2024.
Gomme le gopoleng gore tshepetšo ye e leng gore ga re ka yona le kgono ga se tsela e nnoši e leng gore batho ba ka ntšha maikutlo a bona go ile wa kwalakwatšwa kua morago wa thwi wo a ratang go ntšha maikutlo a gagwe a ka ntšha ka go tsela ya go ngwala gomme le nako e le gore e filwe maikutlo a go ntšhiwa ka tsela ya go ngwala le yona e bušeditšwe pele.
Due to the number of requests to extend the deadline has been extended to the 15th of February 2024. So written submission can still be submitted until the 15th of February 2024.
So ka baka la so ebile ka taba ya baka la gore batho ba ba lla ba re ao re kgopela le bušetšeng pele letšatši la go tswalelwa gomme ke ka fao tšona ditšhišinyo tša tsela ya go ngwalwa bjalo tšatši la go tswalelwa le bušeditšwe pele ke la 15 February 2024.
Most importantly, today we are here to listen to you.
Se bohlokwa le go feta le kgono re tlile fa go tla go theeletša wena.
We are not going to respond to any input and contribution made by the public.
Gomme ke le lemoše fa gore a re tlo arabela ditšhišinyo goba dipolelo tše e leng gore tlo ba di dirwa fa ke setšhaba.
For the past 3 days, we were in Limpopo. Today, we are here. We are still going to go to other provinces. We are only going to respond once we have taken and considered all inputs and contribution across the country.
Matšatši a mararo a fetile go re be re ntše re dira mošomo wa go swana le o gana ka kua Limpopo gomme le kgono re fa gomme ge re fetša mo re tlo akaretša diporofense tše dingwe gomme go arabela tše e leng gore batho ba tlo ba di bolela re tlo dira thalapego morago ga ge re kopantše naga ka moka re kwele gore maikutlo a naga ka bophara a eme seemong se se bjang.
So our responses will be all inclusive, taking into account all inputs made by the public in all provinces that we'll be visiting. Now, can I see by show of hands members of the public that wants to speak?
Dikarabo tša rena di tlo ba di akaretša mebono le dipolelo ka moka tše e le gore di boletše naga ka bophara bjalo ke kgopela go bona ka diatla ba e le gore ba ka rata go ntšha maikutlo a bona.
Sir, you'll be number 1, the one with the Zulu what? you'll be number 2. At the back, there's on the black, yes, shirt, you'll be number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. The first round, I'm only going to take 10 hands. Can I take number 7, number 8, number 9, the last hand on the first round?
Bialo ye ke yona round ya mathomo ke tlo tšea matsogo a lesome fela a round ya mathomo.
Okay, the first round, we have 9 hands. Remember, you only have 3 minutes to make your contribution. However, if you feel that you have other related issues that you raise, please use the first 2.5 minutes to speak on the bill, and the remaining 30 seconds, you can say whatever you want to say.
O itaetša eke mo roundong ya mathomo re na le matsogo a senyane fela. Gomme ke gopotše batho gore re na le metsotso ye meraro fela o tla go ntšha maikutlo a rena. Gomme ke eletše fa ke re mohlomongwe motho gore a se ka palelwa ke go bolela tše bohlokwa tše e le gore a ka rata go di ntšha maikutlong matsalong a gagwe. A ke a re metsotso e mebedi le seripe ya mathomo a bolele ka tše bohlokwa gomme mo metsotswana ya masometharo ya mafelelo gomme o ka no tlaleletša ka tše dingwe tše e le gore o bona kare ga di name di sepelelana le wona molaokakonyong.
Today's gathering, it's a public hearing on the General Intelligence Laws Amendment Bill. Let's participate as such. Number 1.
Kopano ya lekgono ke yona kopano le setšhaba mo e leng gore re tlo bolela ka yona molaokakanywa wa go fetoša melao ya bohlodi ka kakaretšo.
Chairperson, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Ke leboga sebaka setulo.
My name is Adam Patlani.
Leina la ka ke Adam Phatlana.
I'm here on behalf of Bakhatla Bagalukuleni Traditional Royal House.
I am here on behalf of Bakhatla Balukure
Traditional Royal House. Firstly, I would like to make a comment in relation to subsection 5.2 of this document.
Santla ke rata go dira tshwaelo mabapi le molawana wa section 5.2. 5.2.
Yeah. I'm raising this also looking at the principal phrase that says, leave no one behind.
Ke buisiwa se fa ke lebeletse ntlha ya gore go se nne le ope yo o tlogelwang kwa morago.
Secondly, section 20 of the Traditional Leadership and Governance Framework Act of 2003.
Sa bobedi ke legatolo la section 20 le le buang ka molao o laolang ka tsamaiso ya tsa bogosi.
Giving prerogative to the traditional leadership to develop programs, not only develop but also implement them.
E leng gore e neela ba tsa bogosi dithata tsa gore ba tlhame diprograma tsa bone le go di tsamaisa.
Yes, now the statement in 5.2, in as far as we are concerned, is a threat in itself.
Ntlha e ya 5.2 ke e matshosetsi ka boyona.
It brings about undue exclusion of a very important stakeholder.
E kete e kgapela ntle ba tsa karolo ba ile gore tota ba na le karolo ya botlhokwa.
It is one step into the killing of the very same intelligence that we are here to fortify.
E kete e bola bona botlhodi bo ile gore re fa ka ntlha gore re kgone gore re botsosolo se sešwa.
To make emphasis, I would like to quote Martin Luther King Jr.
Go gatella ntlha e ke batla go nopola Martin Luther King Jr.
Open quote, people fear each other. They fear each other because they do not know each other.
Ga ke monopola batho ba tshabana ka ntlha ya gore ba tshabana ka lebaka la gore ba sa itsane.
They do not know each other because they are separated from each other, close quote.
Ha se gore ga ba itsane ka ntlha ya gore ba kgaogane ba sa atamelane ke ka ntlha ya gore ga ba itsane.
This will give clarity to the concern raised about 5.2.
Seo tota se tla sedimosetsa ntlha e ya mo 5.2.
Yes. Lastly, on this point, I would like to argue that it is contradiction in terms.
La bofelo ke rata go tlhagisa ntlha gore e kete ntlha e tla ikganetsa.
When one looks at the phrase, leave no one behind.
Fa motho a lebella puo e ya gore go se nne le ope yo kgapelwang kwa ntle.
But it is of no surprise that even the department that regulates traditional affairs is called COGTA, which means Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs.
Le ga go makatse ka ntlha gore le lefapha lone le laolang tsa bogosi le le bidiwang COGTA.
It is a threat in itself in the sense that traditional affairs is seen as an extension of the machine and not part of the machine.
Ka gore e kete tsamaiso ya tsa bogosi e tsewa e le tlaleletso e seng karolo ya tsamaiso.
When you look around and apply mind to occurrences in life,
Fa o lebella ditiragalo tse di diragalang tse mo re tshelang teng,
many horrible things take effect and take place within members of communities that are under traditional leadership organs.
dilo tse dintsi di diragalla batho baagi ba ba leng mo tlase ga taolo ya bogosi.
The first person who would have much more knowledge about what is happening in an environment is the traditional leader.
Motho wa ntlha yo o tlabeng a itse gore tota go diragalang a na le tshedimosetso e e tletseng
And not a
ke-
politician.
ke kgosi e seng borradipolotiki.
And when we advance arguments in favor for or against the relook at this particular act, we must make sure that all these perspectives are covered: cultural, economic, political, religious, social, and
Mme ga
legal.
re le ba sentle re le ba setsa ona molao o re tshwanetse gore re akaretse dintlha tsotlhe tsa ka loago,
Cultural,
ka tsa setso,
economic,
maemo a ikonomi,
political,
tsa sepolotiki,
religious,
tsa tumelo
and legal.
le tsa semolao.
Sorry, legal and social.
Tsa semolao le tsa loago.
Yes. To cite one example,
In conclusion,
Fa ke neela sekai kwa o
you've
gare-
already exceeded with more than 60 seconds.
is that so? Okay, let me say in conclusion, I just want to cite one example, and I'm happy that we still have an opportunity to make inputs by way of a written way.
Ke itumela gore santsena re na le tetla ya gore
Yeah.
re ka nna ra dira ditshitshinyo tse di kwetsweng.
Now I'm saying in conclusion, I want to emphasize just this one particular point. The powers of the minister, in as far as we are concerned, must be minimized to a particular point because in reference to one minister who understood society at some point in life, it was in connection with the issue of polyandry.
Matla a tona ya lefapha a tshwanetse gore a sekaseke sešwa a fokodiwe ke bua ka ntlha e ya polyandra,
Yeah, and then secondly, sex work.
tiro ya ba tsa thobalano, badiri ba tsa thobalano.
This minister understood the nation and said they would like to legalize sex work.
Motona eo o ne a ema a bolelela setšhaba gore ba batla go tsenya gore
And
go
then
nne le
it-
molao o letlang tiro tsa thobalano.
It was clear from that particular emphasis, from his viewpoint, that the economic perspective took precedence over the rest.
E kete tona o ne a lebeletse go ungwelwa ka tsa ikonomi ene o ne a go beile kwa pele.
Thank you very much, and I'm saying if my child would go and play this game and comes home with a grocery, must I sit around table and enjoy the grocery?
Ke ne ke botsa gore a ngwana ke ha a ka tsamaya go rekisa mmele a boa ka tsa go ja a mme ke tshwanetse ke dule ke netefalelwe ke go ja dijo tseo.
You got my point without clarifying any further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I did indicate earlier on that no one will be out of order. I'm not going to call order, but it also remains my duty to ensure that we are all reading from the same hymn book. The latter speaker, I'm not too sure whether he was referring to the correct legislation. In terms of we do not have 5.2. I'm just trying to make sure that the support staff, please make sure that everyone is having a correct copy of our bill.
Sebui se se tswang fa ga ise ke tlhomamisi sentle gore a mme re na le temana ya 5.2 ne ke re badiri ba palamente ba netefatse gore kete ga rena 5.2 badiri ba netefatse gore baagi ba na le ditokomane tse di maleba.
Most importantly, all the speakers, please feel free to use any language to express yourself. We have interpreters that are going to assist us in translating and interpreting your input. So don't have pressure to use any other language that you are not comfortable. In order for you to express yourself freely, use the language of your choice.
Baagi ba rotloediwa go dirisa puo nngwe le nngwe e leng gore ba e kgona ba kgona go itlhagisa maikutlo a bone ntle le kgatelelo epe ga gona opo o e leng gore o tshwanetse gore a patelediwe gore a ka dirisa puo nngwe ntle le puo e leng gore o ikutlwa a repile tota ha dirisa puo eo.
Number 2, you have, it's starting from now.
Karata ho le dumedisa kaofela maloko a tlhomphehang a palamente, members of the Hoc Committee,
Greetings to everyone.
citizens of the city of Tshwane.
Greetings
and
to
the
everyone, members of the Hoc Committee, our community at large.
My first point that I would like to raise for consideration and recommendation to the committee,
Ntlha ya ntlha e ke ratang go e neela ka komiti gore ba e sekaseke sešwa.
it's a review of the national key points and government departments and institutions
Ke go
being
lebisa
secured and guarded by the private security sector instead of government security and national security institutions that are officially there by the constitution, as including the SAPS or the military or the state security agency.
ke gore ditheo tsa puso di molao o tsamaisang botlhodi bo bo laolang ditheo tsa puso o lebisiwe sešwa jaaka ditheo di tshwana le SAPS
Military
tsa sešole
and other relevant state
ga mmogo
security
le
agencies.
ditheo dingwe tsa tshireletso tsa naga ya rona.
Supporting reason is that what if we come to realize that services of the private security sector are acquired as per tender processes or job that are required, they should provide for a certain period.
Se ke ka ntlha ya gore fa re tsaya ditheo tsa poraefete tsa tshireletso batho ba thapiwa jalo ka tiragatso e ya ditendera e leng gore ba dira ka nakonyana e rileng.
So after they have left providing the services to a certain institution or government department, they leave with sensitive information, and to find out the next term, it's not the same company that is given the job, but those people had a proximity and access to a certain state information and state sensitive assets or documents or information that will be
Bothata ke
relevant for our
gore-
government.
Bothata ke gore tsona ditheo tseo tsa poraefete tsa tshireletso tse di thapiwang ka ona mokgwa o ba kgona go fitlhelela tshedimosetso e masisi ka ga mmuso e leng gore kwa morago ga gore kontraka ya bone e fele ba tsamaya ba ntse ba na le tshedimosetso eo.
Which is compromising our, what do you call, sovereignty of our country and state.
Seo
And,
se
but
di-
also themselves, they are there for profit reasons, not for patriotic reasons to lead our country.
Seo
to
tota se dira gore tshireletso ya naga ya rona go se ka ga nna le tshireletsego mo nageng ya rona. Mme ebile ke lemoga jalo gore ba dira jalo ka ntlha gore e se gore ba rata naga ya rona, ba dira jalo ka ntlha gore ba batla go ungwelwa.
So it's easy for them to sell that information to the highest bidder.
Ka
in
jalo
terms of central.
ba kgona go rekisetsa mongwe le mongwe yo o ka ba nayang ditšhelete gore ba ba fe tshedimosetso yona e masisi eo.
My second point is in regards to domestic intelligence and foreign intelligence.
Sa
Where,
bobedi, ntlha ya ka ya bobedi ke ka ga botlhodi ba mo nageng le botlhodi jwa bosetšhaba-tšhaba.
where currently our country citizens are affected by the cyber crimes that are going on through the easy access of forged or what do you call copied SIM cards of same numbers, where most people rely on using those numbers for banking systems and their
Ka
financial
ntlha
gains.
ya gore baagi ga jaana e tswa batswa setlhabelo jwa bosenyi jwa mafaratlhatlha ka ntlha ya di-sim card tse re iphitlhela re di dirisa tse le gore batho bangwe ba kgona gore ba nne ba le dikgatiso tsa di-sim card tseo mme ba nne le tshedimosetso.
With the current ratio, we have realized that South Africa is one of the victims of cybercrime, the highest. As of Thursday last week, it was the 4th in Africa. So
Go
which
ya
it
ka
says we have
tshedimosetso-
lack of sight in that as a country.
Go ya ka tshedimosetso e ke e boneng ka Labone wa beke e re sa tswang go tswa mo go yone, Aforika Borwa ne le naga ya bone mo kontinenteng ya Africa e le gore baagi e tswa ba tswa setlhabelo ba bosenyi jo jwa tsa mafaratlhatlha.
So the levels of technology that we are in, the state security or the national security agencies need to review what kind of high-level protection we need as the citizens of this country compared to the world out there and compared to the continent level of how technology is advanced more than the people have access to. So we need protection in that from the side of the state.
Ditirelo tsa botlhodi mo nageng ya rona ba tlhoka gore ba lebisise sešwa kgang e ya botswa setlhabelo ba baagi mo go tsa ditirelo tsa bosenyi fa re tla re lebisa mo kontinenteng ya Africa.
So one of the recommendations I will put forward is that we check that we put a law that encourages or instructs that most of the things that would acquire access to information of our citizens be done by only countries that are established in this country or from our nation that are proudly South African.
Ke
So
tla ka
that in
tshitshinyo
future we
ya
don't give
gore-
internationals access to our information. We
Ke
put
tla
our
ka-
people vulnerable.
Ke tla ka tshitshinyo ya gore ditheo tse le gore di tshwanetse gore di nne di tsamaise tsa botlhodi ka ga tshireletso ya mafaratlhatlha e nne tse di le mo nageng ya rona mme le fa e le tsa kwa ntle e nne tse le gore go na le ditumalano go rulagantswe go na le thulaganyo eo e go dumalano ka yone.
The third last law, as I conclude, is the one that would be established to assist in how we redeploy our former employees of those 4 or 5 intelligence agencies, former employees of military, former employees of SAPS, former employees of state security agencies.
Ntlha e nngwe ke gore re lebise gape ntlha ya gore ba ba kileng ba direla ditiro tsa botlhodi mo nageng gore go nne le taolo ya gore go dirwang ka bone morago ga gore ba sa tlhola ba direla ditheo tseo.
Because they use the skills that they acquired after not being employed to use them to give that information or that intelligence to those who would pay for it, for them to have an income to survive, and then they use it against us as the state again. For example, the cash in transit heists that are happening currently.
Ka
if
ntlha
you check
gore
the ratio-
re lemogile gore ba dirisa tshedimosetso e ba e boneng ka nako ya fa ba ne ba direla ditheo tseo tsa botlhodi go dirisana le disenyi mo nageng ba rekisa tshedimosetso eo mme ya ba ungwelwa ka jalo re tshwanetse gore re tlhokomele ntlha eo.
So with the current ratio, if you check all the coordinated teams that are there in the cash in transit heist or robberies that are happening, for example, the one that happened in our airport last time in history when they were robbing some diamonds, if you could check, you can't have an access to a certain institution without having the knowledge of the infrastructure
Ke
and how
tsa-
is it set
ha
up
ke
and all
dire
that.
sekai ka bosenyi jo bo rulagantswe bo bo dirileng kwa boemafofane bo kwa go ne go a utswiwa ditemane ko teng go bontsha gore batho ba bane ba na le tshedimosetso ke ka moo ba kgonne go diragatsa bosenyi joo.
So my recommendation is that there be a law of how they get redeployed in supporting the current existing, while they were employees from the previous institutions that we had.
Ka
Even in
jalo-
the restructuring of it, I
Ke
thank you.
tsitsinya jalo gore ba ba neng ba direla ditirelo tsa botlhodi ba thapiwe kwa ditheong tsa sešwa tsa botlhodi mo nageng gore ba kgone go ungwelwa naga e ungwelwe.
Hello.
Before you leave, for record purposes, please introduce yourself and tell us where you are from. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Mishak Mashahu. I'm from here in Tswane, in the township called Soshanguve, in Ward 89. I'm here on my personal capacity.
Thank you. Number 3.
Ke nna Mishak Mashau, ke tswa gana ka mo Seshongube, ke a leboha.
Sitze.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Jacques Bredrijk, Chief Spokesperson for Community Safety at AfriForum.
Thobela mtlhomphe mdlostulo ke leboha sebaka le nna ke nna Jack ke nna se boleledi sa setšhaba mabapi le tša polokego.
This submission is dedicated to Babita Diukaran.
Gomme gabotse polelo ya rena re tlo e bolela gomme re lebediše mabapi le tše e le gore di dirile go yena Babita Deokaran.
A whistleblower murdered in cold blood in an attempt to cover up government corruption.
Ke ene o le gore o ile a bolawa ga bohloko ka mo e le gore go bone maitekelo a go tšhireletša bomenemene bo e le gore ba dirago ka mo mmušong.
Her cell phone was traced and monitored for weeks before her violent murder.
Gomme phone ya gagwe e ile ya latelwa ya lekodiša gore o ka ba o kae pele a ge a ka bolawa ga bohloko.
Our submission addresses the inadequacies in oversight of mass surveillance capabilities introduced by GILAB.
Gomme bjalo polelo ya rena e lebeletše taba tšana tše tša go hlokomedišiša le go latedišiša kudu go šomišwa yona technology.
The attempt to legalize the National Communications Centre's operation lacks essential safeguards for privacy and freedom of expression.
Gomme re lebeletše le taba tšana tše tša dikgokagano gape re lebeletše gore go be le tokologo ya motho ya go ntšha maikutlo.
We therefore argue that the proposed oversight mechanisms fall short of the standards set by the Constitutional Court, risking unchecked surveillance powers with insufficient protection against the potential abuses.
Gomme ke ka moo re gananago le tšona diphetho tše e le gore di tšerwe ke kgorotshekokgolo ya mabapi le taba tšana tše tša go sepelana le tšona dikgokagano.
Do not forget that the current government is the same government who in 2015 used sophisticated cell phone jamming technology to prevent the media from reporting what was happening at the State of the Nation address.
Re gopole gore wona mmušo ano ko wona o le gore ka 2015 o ile wa šomiša yona technology go jema yona dikgokagano gana ka kua nakong ya pulo ya palamente.
With all due respect, Chair, but that is not the behavior of a mature democratic government. That is the behavior of a Cold War era Soviet-funded terrorist organization.
Gape ka tlhomphe e kgolo mtlhomphe modulasetulo ke laetše gore maitshwaro a mogote uwe ga se maitshwaro a mmušo o e leng gore o tlhabologilwe ke yona maitshwaro a mmušo o e leng gore ga o sepetse dilo gabotse.
It's also deeply concerning that the GILAB mandates mandatory security vetting for the operation of civil society and private institutions in South Africa.
Gomme gape ebile go a nyamiša gore yona GILAB e lebeletše taba ya go tlo laola le tšona ditšhireletšo le dikhamphani tša tšhireletšo tša praebete ka mo Afrika Borwa.
This is, however, not surprising, seeing as civil society has become the largest thorn in the corrupt ANC government's side when it comes to keeping it accountable.
Ke ka moo re bonago ebile ga go makatše re bona bona badudi ba Afrika Borwa ba e ba tšwa setlhabelo a maemo a e leng gore ke a mabe ka fase ga mmušo wa ANC.
Seeing as our own Chapter 9 institutions have unfortunately become infected with cadreism, the very same disease that is causing the ruling party's terminal illness.
Re a bona gore dihlongwa tša rena kudu-kudu tša mmušo di tletše kudu ka go thwalana ka go tsebana ke sona se le gore se hlola mathata ka mo nageng.
In closing, Chair, a tree can be judged by the fruit it bears. And judging the ANC by its fruits, it would certainly not be in South African society's best interest to allow these amendments to become law.
Gomme ke bona nna ge ke tswalela ke bona go ka se be go botse gore re ke re tliše yona melao ya mokhutlano ka baka la gore ga ke bone e le gore e tlo re iša pele.
These laws will be abused by the ANC government
Melao ya mokhutlano e tlo šomišwa gampe ke mmušo wa ANC
and used to target activists, political rivals, and whistleblowers like
Gomme-
Mapita Diukaran.
gomme ya šomišwa go thibela le go paledišwa batho ba e le gore ba lwela tokologo le batho ba e le gore ba lwela go tlontšha go tula mpe di a diega go tshwana le Babita Diukaran.
I thank you for your time.
Ke a leboga mohlomphegi modulasetulo.
Thank you so much. I think the other important aspect for all our inputs, please indicate your support or not of the bill. We are here for the public to enrich the draft bill, and we would love to get recommendations and proposals if you support and you don't support, in order for us to have a meaningful contribution and participation. Thank you so much. So whoever speaks, also please indicate support or not for our record purposes. Thank you so much.
Mongwe le mongwe o tlileng go bua fano ke kopa gore a tlhagise gore o tshegetsa molaotlhomo kgotsa ga o tshegetse. Fa o dira seo o tlabe o re thusa ka tshedimosetso mme ebile o re matlafatsa jaaka komiti.
And also, if you have your written submission, please ensure that you forward it to the table in front for our support staff to capture appropriately all your inputs.
Ditshwaelo tse di kwadilweng di tla isiwa fale re itse gore a o na le rona kgotsa o kgatlhanong le molaotlhomo.
You can proceed, number 4.
Number 4,
Thank you very much, Chair,
ke a leboga modulasetulo,
and greetings to the ad hoc committee
ke dumedise komiti,
and everyone in the gallery.
mongwe le mongwe o leng teng fano.
My name is Mpokgo Mosotho,
Leina la me ke Mpokgo Mosotho,
and I am from Ward 63 here in Tshwane,
ke tswa ko Ward 63 mono mo Tshwane.
also a chairperson in the region overseeing 97 wards out of all 107 wards.
Ke le modulasetulo ke o kametse di leoto di le 97 go tswa mo go tse di
107.
107.
I'm the support head of Al Jama Civilians Oversight on Intelligence Desk,
Ke
Parliament.
nna ke tshegetsang mokgatlho o wa Al Jama mo go tse tsa botlhodi.
Al Jama supports GILAP, but calls for a third tier of intelligence to prevent regime change.
Re le Al Jama re ema Gillep nokeng ra e tshegetsa mme e kete go ka nna le kgato nngwe e ya boraro go leka go ka e matlafatsa.
It cannot ignore attempts by the largely white constituency in the Western Cape to secede from South Africa.
E leke gape go ka tlhokomela ntlha ele ya Kapa Bokone ya gore Kapa Bokone ena a emele thoko e se ka nna karolo ya Afrika Borwa.
Already there's a soft coup in Cape Town,
Go setse go na le matshosetsi a tlhakatlhakano ko Motse Kapa
which is being modeled into being a Zionist police state.
e leng gore e tsamaisana le tsele tsa tumelo ya tsa Zionist.
With public hearings like this one for the provincial power bill.
Mme ka dithetso tsa phatlalatso tse di tshwanang le tse di tlile go tlisa seo mo pepeneneng.
The bill should outlaw this kind of subtle attempts
E tshwanetse gore melawananyana e keteng ke ya bonokwane e beele ko thoko.
The bill should provide for compliance with Convention on Genocide
E tshwanetse e lebe kgang e ya polao ya mogoso
and political party leaders and leaders of pro-Israel lobbies
le baeteledipele ba e leng gore ba dumalana le puso ele ya ko Israel.
They should be charged for complicity
Ba tshwanela ke gore ba tlholwe gore le bona ba ema nokeng kgang e.
when they support the acts of genocide highlighted by South Africa at The Hague.
ka ntlha ya gore ba tshegetsa ntlha e ya polao ya mogotso e leng gore e eme nokeng ke Afrika Borwa kwa kgotlatshekelo ya Hague.
Once again, it is Al-Jama's submission that the 20 amendments requested by the IG to give him more powers to investigate and monitor security forces for torture after liberation.
Tsele tsa dintlha di le 20 re ne re le tsona di ele tlhoko tse e leng gore di batla gore di tlhabololwe.
Al-Jama did not want an intelligence structure in South Africa because of how they tortured resistance fighters, as seen by the TRC report.
Al-Jama ga e batle kgang e ka ntlha gore ba bone ka mokgwa e leng gore batho ba ne ba boga ka yona.
And almost half of our present intelligence forces come from the apartheid era.
Mme ha re ra leba sentle bontlhangwe ba yona kgang e ba tswa gona ko pusong ele ya tlhaolele.
Those that remain must be retired so that South Africa has an intelligence force that complies with the constitution and humanitarian values.
Ba setseng bona ba tshwanela ke gore ba leboge tiro gore Afrika Borwa a tla kgone go tswetsa pele tiro ya gago sentle.
The intelligence community in South Africa must take lead to build a new humanitarian civilization for the world, or at least prevent the savagery of the present civilization led by Israel, America, Germany, France, and England.
Me e tshwanela ke gore e tlhokomele gore dinaga tsotlhe tse e leng gore di ema nokeng kgang e ya ko Israele di ele tlhoko le tsona di etsa bo America, Germany, Israel, France and England.
Germany, with its present support for genocide in Gaza, must pay more reparations for the Holocaust.
File Germany yona tshwanela ke gore a tlhole botlhoko ka ntlha ya ditlolomolao tsa gagwe tsa maloba tsele tsa ntwa.
They must pay more as they have not learned a lesson.
Ba duele go utlwala ka ntlha gore ga ba utlwe.
It is time that the security forces must compute reparations.
Me se dira gore dituelo tse di tlhagelle ka mokgwa wa di computer.
On Israel, no, not computer, compute, calculate.
O tse ba kgone go ka
To calculate reparations.
ba kgone go ka bala go di tshenyegelo gore ke bokae.
On Israel and everyone like ACDP,
Mo go Israel le mongwe jaaka ACDP.
and like those Christian bodies that support genocide in Gaza must pay.
Lona makoko a la skresetale a tshegetsang Gaza ba tshwanela ke gore ba duele.
In conclusion, Chair,
Ke garela modulasetulo.
if the IG of Intelligence gets his powers and bill that embraces a new humanitarian civilization,
Fa IG a fiwa dithata tsa gagwe tse di maleba.
then Al-Jama supports the bill. Thank you
Re
very
le
much.
Al-Jama re tshegetsa ka diatla tsopedi bili e.
Thank you so much. Number 5.
Thank you, greetings everyone.
Dumelang ki dumedisa botlhe ba ba fano.
My name is Pius Moyo and I'm representing Rose Happy Times.
Leina la ka ke Pius Mono ki emetse Rose Happy Times.
Rose Happy is a home for the elderly. It takes care of the elderly in Sosville, west of Pretoria.
Rose Bailey ke le gae la bagodi ba rona e tlhokometse bagodi ba rona mo Rose Happy Times.
And because Rose Happy is looking after the needs of the elderly, it is important that we take everything into consideration here.
Me ka ntlha gore Rose Happy e tlhokometse bagodi ba rona go botlhokwa thata gore re tseye seno tsia.
The center where we are situated is just next in the vicinity of the Sosville Hostel.
Kwa Rose Happy e leng gona e gaufi thata le di hostele.
And because of the proximity to the hostels, time and again we get to hear gunshots being shot and we don't know who they are targeted at.
Ka ntlha ya gore le gaufi le hostele gangwe le gape re utlwa go gebeletsega dithunya me le fa re sa itse gore tota di lebisitswe kwa go mang.
But we suspect that because guns have been shot, somebody somewhere knows something about that.
Me re belaela gore ka ntlha ya gore dithunya tsona di le dile go raya gore mongwe gogong o itse sengwe.
In the same space, just next to the Atteridgeville police station, there is too many criminal activities taking place there.
Gape gaufi le station sa sepodisa sa Atteridgeville go na le bosenyi bo le bontsi bo bo diragalang.
And nothing is being done about that.
Me ga gona sepe se se dirwang ka seo.
So in terms of supporting this bill, it is important that this bill addresses the needs of the people insofar as the bylaw on security are concerned.
Le fa e le go tshegisa molaotlhomo o, go botlhokwa gore o ele tlhoko melawana e tsamaisang bo masepala.
For instance, we suggest as part of the community of Atteridgeville that we have members of the community forums who are involved in the intelligence so that they can advise the security about the intelligence that is happening in Atteridgeville, criminal activities.
Gape re tsitsinya rona re le baagi ba Atteridgeville gore ba maloko a CPF e nne karolo ya tsa botlhodi gore ba kgone go neela ba ba kwa godimo ba botlhodi tshedimosetso ka se se diragalang mo tikologong ya bona.
Yeah, actually, we suggesting more than CPF. There are many community structures in Atteridgeville that can advise the security as to what is going on.
Ga se fela CPF kwa Atteridgeville go na le ditheo tsa baagi di le dintsi tse e leng gore le tsona di ka neela di a dirisana le tsa ba botlhodi.
We are suggesting this because often at time, police react to criminal activities rather than proact.
Re bua sene ka ntlha gore go le gantsi mapodisa ba tsibogela bosenyi bo setse bo diragetse mo boemong ba gore ba bonele pele gore go tla nna le bosenyi.
And then because of that, we're going to support the act insofar as it addresses those needs.
Me ka ntlha seo re tshegetsa molaotlhomo o
When it addresses all these needs.
fa e le gore tota e tla arabela ditlhokego tseo tsotlhe.
Thank you.
Ke a leboga.
Thank you so much. Number 6, please come to the front.
Chairperson, Honorable Chair, just as a disclaimer, the next speaker is a Xhosa speaker, and we do not have a Xhosa interpreter, but we will do our best to assist her and the committee.
The disclaimer is duly noted.
Thank you, Chair.
Izaba mfutshane. Enkosi Chair,
Thank you so much, Chairperson.
molweni manene namanenekazi.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
Igama lam ndinguSiphokazi Khadija Boko.
My name is Sipogazi
Khadija Boko.
Khadija Boko
Dibuya Ward 49,
from Ward 49.
the Regional Secretarial Al-Jama.
I'm a regional secretary of Al-Jama
Kwalapha eTshwane.
here in Swane.
I-Al-Jama ivumelana neJILAB.
Al-Jama supports GLAB.
Cha kufuneka abantu abancinci abasekhini kunye nabantu abakhubazekileyo banike indawo yokugcina ilizwe likhuselekile.
But we need young and female people to be given space so that we make the country safe.
Abantu nabantu basekhini, women kunye nabantu disability.
We need disabled as well as female people to be given an opportunity in the space.
So that siyakwazi ukunqanda into i-July unrest ingaphinde ikwazeke ukuyenzeka kakhona.
So that we can avoid a repeat of the July unrest.
Enkosi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, number 6. Number 7, over to you.
Good morning, Chairperson, members of the committee, people in attendance. My name is Johan Snyman from Ward 2 in Tshwane.
Ke thome ka go dumiša modulasetulo ke dumediše setšhaba. Leina la ka ke nna Morena Snyman ke tšwa Ward 2.
I'm a member of Action SA that participate in this public participation session as we are not yet represented in Parliament.
Ke le loko la Action SA go tla go kgatha tema mo kopanong ye eupša rena re mokgatlo o e le gore ga se tlo re ba le kemedi ka parlamenteng.
But we want to participate to fix South Africa.
Eupša re rata go kgatha tema gore re kgone go lokiša Afrika Borwa.
I am old enough to remember names of people like General Langhans van Rensburg,
Ke nna o mogolo kudu o gore nka lebala maina a o tshwana le yena General
Langhans van Rensburg,
Langhans van
Rensburg, Connie Mulder and Eshel Rudy.
Connie Mulder and Eshel Ruby.
They were involved in an intelligence scandal
Ba ile ba kgatha tema mo mathateng a nngwe a mangwe a le gore a ile a dia ka mo nakong ye a go sepelana le tsona tša bohlodi.
during the days of the National Party, and that must never happen again in our democracy.
Ka matšatši a mokgatlwana o la wa National Party gomme seo ga sa tshwanela gore se direge gape mo mmušong mo nageng ya democracy.
We are deeply concerned about the potential ramifications of this bill.
Re tloga re tshwenyega ka mabapi le mathata a mangwe a le gore a ka ba a ka tswelela mabapi le ona molaokakanyo woo.
We acknowledge the importance of robust legislation,
Re a lemoga bohlokwa bja melao ye mebotse ye mekaone ya go šoma.
but it must not compromise the independence of the key institutions.
Eupša e ska gatelela boikemedi bja ditheo tše bohlokwa.
And especially not the office of the Inspector General of Intelligence.
Kudu re lebeletše yona kantoro ya yena mosepiketere pharephare wa tšona tša bohlodi.
I want to urge the committee
Ke ipiletše go committee
to look out for any clause in this bill that will restrict the independence
ke re lebeleleng karolwana ye nngwe le nngwe ka mo molaong wo molaokakanyong wo ye e leng gore e ka tla ya thibela boikemedi.
the independence that will restrict the office of the Inspector General.
Boikemedi gomme ke yona karolwana ye e le gore e tlo palediša yona kantoro ya mosepiketere pharephare o dira mošomo.
Also, the potential erosion of civil liberties must be looked out for.
Gape le kgonagalo ya go gata ka ditokelo le tokologo ya setšhaba e swantše e lebelela.
Let's fix South Africa.
A re ageng Afrika Borwa.
Thank you so much. Number 8.
Re a leboga.
Ke dumedisa ba botlhe ba leng teng mo tulong e.
Greetings to the house at large.
Nna lebitso la ka ke Tshepo Tolo.
My name is Tshepo Tolo.
Ke tlhakile ko Ward 72 ko Atteridgeville.
I am from Ward 72 in Atteridgeville.
Ebile ke member wa party ya Al Jamaa.
And I am a member of the party by the name Al Jamaa.
Party ya rona e supporta bill e ya GLAP.
Our party supports the GLAP.
Ebile re na le maikokobetso or maikopelo.
Yes, and then also we have some requests.
Ka go ya ka rona GLAP e tlo fokotsa matla a IGI. Intelligence Office.
According to us, GLAP is going to reduce the power of IGI.
So, ko pa le lebelle as previous speaker boletse re khopela le lebelle amendment tse tsotlhe tse di tsamaisanang le office ya hae.
Also to echo the words of the latter speaker, let us look at the amendments that have to do with the work of IGI.
Ka hobane, di restrictions, he ka ba tse ngata mo amendmenteng ya bill e.
Because if you can have too many restrictions on the work of the IGI, as we are amending this bill,
Hora gore e tlo pallisa gore a ire mmereko wa hae ka ho felella.
then the IGI is not going to be able to do his work without fear and favor.
O tlo khona le hona mo go tlo ba le matsenela, o ka ba le di influence e tlang kontle e ntši, because ntla ba a sa khone ho ira mmereko wa hae ka ho itaola, a na le batho ba ba mo laolang.
There are going to be many elements that are going to influence his work because he is not independent.
Ka hore bia hore khopela gore he le amenda le lebelleng office ya gae le fokotseng di restrictions le mo fe matla a mantši in restricted.
With those words, I'm saying when you make your amendments, please look at and make sure that you do not restrict the IGI. Make sure that if anything, you can give him more power.
Ke a leboha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 9, the last one on our first round.
Greetings to everyone.
Ke dumediše ngwako ka bophara.
It's an honor to be here today.
Ke lethabo le legolo go tla go kgatha tema fa le kgono.
My name is Eunice Ngwato.
Leina la-
Sorry. My name is Eunice Ngwato, member of Al Jama Party Ward 68 at Atteridgeville.
Leina la ka ke Eunice Ngwato, ke leloko la Aljama, ke tšwa
Ward 68.
68
Atteridgeville.
ka Atteridgeville.
We as Al Jama, we support DLAB, but the Inspector General of Intelligence cannot be a subordinate of the intelligence services.
Re ya mafa re le Aljama go thekga yona GILAP, eupša re lebeletše gore yona yena GII ke yena o e le gore swantše re a tšhireletšwe ke wona molaokakanywa wo.
So please make a further amendment so that the bill comes with the constitution. Comes with the constitution.
Pialo ke be ke re a re keng re dire diphetošo tša tlaleletšo gore molaokakanywa o tle le molaotheo.
Thank you very much.
Ka boripana ke tšhišinyo ya ka, ke a leboga.
Thank you very much. I'd now open for a second round. Can I please see by show of hands? The gentleman over there, you'll be number 1.
Ke leboga kudu, bialo re tlo ba le round ya bobedi.
Number
Kgopela
2.
le emiše diatla, ge o a ratang go tlo ntšha sa
Number 3.
mafatleng.
Any other hands? Number 4. Number 5. Outside the chambers, number 6 with the blue shirt, yes. Come through, sir. Any hands? Any more hands? Going once, going twice, gone. These are the hands that we're going to entertain in the second round. The procedure remains the same. Before you make any input, please introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you're from, and then use any language of your choice. We have interpreters. Number 1, please proceed, sir.
Wena wokuqala ungaqhubeka. Ungaqhubeka.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Ngiyabonga sihlalo.
Yeah, there are some few points which I wanted to highlight.
Kunezinto nje ezimbalwa sihlalo engifuna ke ukuziveza.
Yeah. My name is Michael Zungela.
Igama lami ke mina nguMichael wakwaZungela.
I'm a citizen of Tswane,
Ngumhlali ke walapha eTshwane.
Ward 48.
Ngiqhamuka ke ku Ward 48.
Yeah. Yeah, the first point actually I want to, at least if maybe in the future, it should be actually explain the purpose of intelligence. So that
Okokuqala nje ngifuna ukuthi nguveze bengicela ukuthi ke kuchazwe kabanzi inhloso yale yalezi zobunhloli.
yeah, because people tend not to understand exactly what is intelligence.
Abantu ke abaqondisisi kahle ukuthi yini ezobunhloli.
Because we end up politicizing, mixing things up, use it for organization purpose.
Ngenxa yokuthi ke sigcina nathi sesixova sifaka noma sicabanga ukuthi ke lokhu yinto nje yezepolitiki.
Yeah, our country and our information, it's not protected.
Izwe lethu kanye nemininingwane yethu ke ayivikelekile.
That's why today,
Ingako nje
I'll
namhlanje
make one scenario.
ngizokunikeza nje isithombe esisodwa.
The Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Motsoaledi,
Ungqongqoshe ke wezasekhaya
he
umhlonishwa
does
Aaron
not sleep
Motsoaledi akalali
because of loopholes in the, in actual information that is existing.
ngenxa nje yezikhala ezikhona kule mininingwane ekhona.
Yeah, it's just simple matter, the permit for Zimbabwe, and I'll make example.
Into nje elula isibonelo ngakunikeza sona ilungelo lalaba ke abavela eZimbabwe ukuthi babe la eNingizimu Afrika noma ipermit.
Yeah, because Zimbabweans, they abuse
Ngenxa ukuthi ke abantu baseZimbabwe ba-abuser
the laws of the country.
imithetho yezwe lethu.
Yeah, because other disturbing actually thing that I want to mention here is human rights versus national security.
Okunye ke ngifuna ukukuveza la amalungelo abantu uma waqhathanisa ke nezokuphepha.
You know, foreigners, they come here with monies. That's why they hire top lawyers to defend themselves when it comes to this question of deportation in terms of the law, citizenship, etc.
Uyazi ke abantu bokufika la uma beza banemali manje ke uma mhlambe babuyiselwa emuva bayakwazi ukuthi bakhokhele ke abameli bakhipha ke le imali ezinkulu uma kufanele babuyiselwe emuva.
Our children are being abused in terms of the information that is accessed in Home Affairs. Someone get married unknown.
Abantwana bethu ke basetshenziswa kabi ngenxa yemininingwane etholakala ke lapha kuma office ezabantu uthola ukuthi abantwana bethu ke bashadiswa nabantu abangabazi.
Yeah. And now I want to mention some very important thing which South Africans have messed up.
Ikhona nje into eyodwa ebalekile engifuna ukuyiveza abantu baseNingizimu Afrika bayimosile.
The access to information
Ukufinyeleleka kwemininingwane
and classification of information.
nokuthathwa ke kwemininingwane igcinwe ngendlela efanele.
Because they give it to unrelevant structures.
Ngenxa yokuthi ke bathatha lemininingwane bayinikeze ke abantu noma ke izikhungo ezingafanele.
Also the Parliament on Intelligence.
Ngisho ke nalo iParliament kulezi zobunhloli.
I don't understand why Parliament is involved, because Parliament is supposed to sit down with the intelligence community
Angiqondi ukuthi ke kungani iParliament libamba iqhaza la ngoba lona kufanele lihlale phansi phela nalaba ke ababukene nezobunhloli.
Your committee is supposed to support and sit down with the intelligence committee, discuss and improve ways of strengthening our national security.
Ikomiti leni kufanele lihlale phansi nekomiti lezobunhloli lixoxisane nalo nivele phela nezindlela zokuqinisa ezokuphepha lapha ezweni lethu.
The intelligence community
Ikomiti ke lezokuphepha
It does not rule the country,
alilawuli izwe.
but their job is to protect the information and its citizens.
Kodwa ke umsebenzi walo ukuvikela imininingwane nezakhamizi zalapha eNingizimu Afrika.
The points which I have mentioned, there must be review in terms of classification of information.
Kukhona ke phela ukuthi kufanele le mininingwane iphinde ibukwe kahle.
Also, the access of information.
Ngisho ke nokufinyeleleka kule mininingwane.
Those must be reviewed.
Lokho kufanele kuphindwe kubukwe kabusha.
Yeah, one example, I'm sure us here, we don't know anything about CIA, we don't know anything about MI5 and other intelligence community in the Europe. We don't know what's happening.
Isibonelo nje thina lapha ezweni lethu asazilutho nge-CIA noma i-M15 ngisho ke nobunye nje okuphathelene nezinto ezenzeka eMelika.
You know, Russia
Uyazi Russia
now is fighting with Ukraine.
manje ke ilwa ne-Ukraine.
There's nothing else. It's a national security. It's a threat that Ukraine is coming with Western powers.
Ayikho nje enye into inkinga nje ukuthi ke manje ke iRussia ixabene neUkraine futhi ke iza namandla ezwe layo.
And our media and other structures, they condemn Russia, aggressor, etc., etc.
Manje ke ababiki bezindaba zethu bavele nje bagxeke iRussia nokunye.
Yeah, so those are the things that is our security should have information. If there's any threat, for example, if South Africa is threatened by Botswana, Zimbabwe, we should act the way Russia is acting. If our sovereignty is threatened, there should be justification, as Russia is having with Western powers.
Manje ke into ekufanele yenzeke la isibonelo ukuthi uma ubuka njengaloku kwenzeka eRussia thina la eSouth Africa kufanele ke labo ababukane nezobunhloli babike uyabona nje mhlambe kungenzeka mhlambe thina sihlaselwa iBotswana noma iZimbabwe lokho kufanele ke kubikwe.
Yeah, when it comes to domestic, my last point is that to improve the bill, domestic collection in conjunction with the intelligent community, it should increase its number, operatives, so that we should should be up to date. I think some people have mentioned that is, like in July, September, July something, unrest, something. Like deep slot, there are a lot of problems because you can't solve the problem because of our weaknesses in terms of intelligence, in terms of the law.
Uma ubuka ke okwenzeka la ekhaya lokho esikubiza ngokuthi domestic collection uzobona ukuthi ke kukhona mhlambe la owenza isibonelo ngalembhikisho ke yavela ngoJuly ukuthi ke ibe khona lembhikisho la ekhaya ngenxa ukuthi ke abekho kade babika ngezobunhloli obenzeka lapha ezweni ngaphakathi.
Yeah, that is my recommendation.
Isinqumo sami ke leso.
Yeah, also the advice of the intelligence community, it should advise, which I think so, it advise and alert the government.
Ngicabanga ke ukuthi laba bezibunhloli bona kufanele ke baxwayise futhi ke batshele uhulumeni ukuthi kuzokwenzakalani noma kwenzakalani ezweni.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to mention for now. Thank you.
Iloko nje bengifuna ukusho kwamanje ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga baba, sicela olandelayo eze ngaphambili.
The following speaker must come to the fore.
Dumelang bo botlhe.
Greetings to everyone.
Leina la ka ke nna Agnes Sepeng from Peu Entle Senior Citizens Club ko Mamelodi.
My name is
Agnes Sepeng,
Agnes Sipeng from Peu Entle.
Senior Citizens.
Senior citizens ko Mamelodi.
Yes. Na concern ya ka ko Mamelodi ke di hostel. Ko di hostel ke mo ditsotsi le batho ba irang dilo tse mpe ba iphitlhang ko teng.
My biggest concern here is the fact that we've got hostels in Mamelodi because that's where a lot of crime happens.
And sa le ba re di hostels tsa rena ba tlo di demolish or ba tlo dira di gore e be di family units.
We were promised a while ago that they will come and demolish those hostels and turn them into family units.
Benong a go iriwa bialo so ditsotsi tsa rena di phitlha ko di hostele di tlogolo tsa rona le tsona tse di thomang bostoutu ba tsena ka mo di hostele ba ithute bostoutu and benong a re sana safety ya bana ba rona le di tlogolo tsa rona.
Now, we currently do not feel safe because of these hostels, because even a lot of crime is happening there. Even our grandchildren that are very naughty have now joined the gangs in those hostels.
Le di drugs di iriwa gona ka mo di hostele ka mo.
And drugs are even manufactured there in those hostels.
Benong rena re le di senior citizens re a tshwenyega gore bana ba rena le ditlogolo ba tlo gola byang ka mo tlase ga maemo a di hostela tsa rona.
We as the elderly in the community are very concerned about our children. How are they going to grow up in that environment?
And le ditlogolo.
And also our grandchildren.
Benong ne re kopa ene killing egisipeng ke a supporta e bill e. Ne re kopa gore ge go thule dilo di nyako iriwa a di iriwe gore bana ba rona le ditlogolo ba be safe ene le rena bo koko le bontatemogolo re itse gore bana ba rona ba safe.
Myself as Egisipeng, I support the bill, but I'm really appealing that if we were promised that things will be delivered, can those services be delivered? Because we are really concerned, we as the elderly, and we are even worried for our own grandchildren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Ke a leboga.
Re leboga me Agnes, re kopela number 3 atle ko pele.
Thanks. Ke a leboga sebaka se ke se kry-ileng. Ke nna Given Khumalo.
My name is Given Khumalo. I'm really thankful for this opportunity.
Ke tswa Mamelodi East, Ward 18.
I'm from Ward 18 in Mamelodi East.
Ke tswa Bakhatla ba Lukhuleng.
I'm from Bakhatlaba.
Lukhuleng, Kinchi.
Balikhuleng.
Lukhuleng.
Kwa ga Kgosi.
Yeah. Ntho ke lebeletseng through a bill, ke a support-a bill ya lena. But ntho one ke lebeletseng is very important gore sentse re bjane le college e tlo trainang private investigator gore re kgono bjana le batho ba ile go tlhokomelang South Africa.
I support the bill, but I suggest that we must have a college where people can be trained to work as investigators, private investigators, that will take care of our country.
It's very important gore ha re le batho re le re bolela ka safety, re bolela gore safety, re bolela gore once re na le a training ya gore re upliftile college e rekang le ka app gore e kgone go tlhokomela the whole technology.
We feel that the college must even be aligned to today's technology, where they have an app that they will utilize to take care of the community.
My concern in hape ke gore re na le di university di produce dilo ya whatever the intelligence, but the protection of South Africa or the university di producer batho ba le intelligence. South Africa eba protection e bjang because of we have intelligent people in South Africa.
We basically don't understand the role of the intelligence people when we've got universities that are producing people like our attorneys, but they are not benefiting the country.
Gore ntho ke lebeletse gore ha ke re university gore re na le batho ba intelligent, but there's abatse karolo mo lefatsheng la rena go protect the country.
I realize that we've got very intelligent people in our society, but they are not being utilized to benefit our country.
That's why ke hatella taba gore once re na le college e le gore once e na le batho ba very intelligent go tlhokomela ba trainilweng go tlhokomela le di border gate le mawatle re itse security se me ba re na le security le sa spodisa sa lewatle is very important for that.
That's why I feel that we need to have a college where people will be trained to look after our borders so that they don't remain borders, so that our borders can be secured.
Ne ke lebella le the most ho lebella maphodisa ha ke le volunteer ko Prasa maphodisa ba allocate or a tlhokomele terene those days o kra hore maphodisa ba busy ka di cell phone ba tshwere di WhatsApp wa ba
I even realized when I was a volunteer at Prasa, there are policemen who have been deployed at Prasa to ensure that there's security, but you'll find them busy on their cell phones instead of doing their job.
ba bana ha o fe le phodisa o titoki ha mo fe bay 10 wa lebala hore mereko o etsang ke eng.
It seems that our police there do not even know why they are there.
And then le gore re improve technology mo dikoloing tsa maphodisa gore maphodisa sentse ba na le screen ba itse gore ha if hona le problem ba e handle bjang le di camera re khono go theosa the crime in mo South Africa.
I also feel that our police have to be empowered by being given the technological devices that will enable them to respond to crime timelessly, such as you want cameras.
Yeah. And then ka re lebeletse technology gore bana ba ba rena hona ba no technology ba tsene mo hone is very important since they protected our technology gore ba re khono protect the country le the businesses tse re di tshwereng whatever finance everything.
And I feel that we must also use technology to protect our country, be it businesses, be it even our own children. We need to use that to protect the country.
Or even le company protecting that sort of technology.
Maybe we should have an institution that is responsible for that.
Ke rata re ka se sebaka seng, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Re a leboga ntate Khumalo Mtungwa Mbulazi. Re gopela number 4 a tle ko pele. Atamela Aubuti.
Good afternoon or good morning to everyone.
Greetings to all.
Okay. My name is Letabo. I'm from Tshwane Disability Forum. I'm the youth leader. My main concern is that what I can say is like with the cybersecurity that is prevalent in our society, because now you could find more WhatsApp, like you could find that people are sending things that are not protecting the country. So sometimes you would find things that are not.
Letabo.
Yeah.
Ke gopela o fe ausi sebaka sa gore a interpret.
Leina la ka ke Lethabo, ke nna moeteledipele wa batho ba ba tshelang ka bogole.
Okay, concern yaka, or my concern, sorry, is that like you would find things that like when it comes to cybersecurity related issues, you would find that like people tend to like get or send things that are not I can say like criminal offenses. So I would say that I do support this amendment bill, and I think that it would can say protect the country.
Ke lemoga gore go na le batho ba ileng gore ba dira bosenyi jwa mafaratlhatlha ka go romela melaetsa e leng gore e etegetsa pele bosenyi. Mme nna ke le Lethabo ke tshegetsa kgang e ya molaotlhomo.
And to follow up on that, I just want to say that when establishing the intelligence board or intelligence committee, I just want to say that when it comes to our technology, it has to be protected in whatever way, so that there's no any criminal offenses that are done in our shores, and so that everything that's been done, it has to be protected, whether it could be our infrastructure or our what you call like devices that we use in South Africa.
Jaaka re itse gore go na le di-app tse e leng gore di a dirisiwa go romelwa melaetsa, ke ne ke tsitsinya gore fa go ka nna le diboto tse e leng gore di tlile go dira ka tsona ditheo tse diboto tse e nne gore tshedimosetso e romelwang e nne tshedimosetso e sireletsegileng e leng gore e ka se ka fitlhela e re tsentse mo mathateng kgotsa e re tsentse mo kotsing.
Just to conclude, I just want to say that because we find a lot of people who are scammers, especially like when you use like WhatsApp or Facebook, you would find people that would say that, okay, they are traders or whatever they are, but you'll find like they are not true, and you would find them that they're mimicking other people's names or accounts, and you would find them they are hacking people's accounts without even their knowledge. So I would say that I would ask even our government so that they can help us when it comes to that, and also our our police to also investigate on this matter, and so that everything can be safer for the greater good of South Africa. Thank you.
Ke ne ke re kgang e gape e tseelwe tlhogong ka ntlha gore go na le batho ba o fitlhelang ba iphetola batho ba e seng bona ba nka ba bitsang gore ke di-scammera kgotsa ditsukunape tse e leng gore di dira ka di-Facebook le di-WhatsApp o tla ba a ipitsa gore ke motho o mongwe kganthe maitlhomo a gagwe a matona ke gore ena a tsietse batho yaanong ke ne ke re ntlha e le yona e tle e ele tlhoko le sepodisi e kete le sona se ka katisiwa gore ba kgone go lemoga bosenyi bo.
I would like to thank, that's what I can say right now. Thank you.
Ke tsotlhe fela tse ne ke batla go di bua mme ke lebogile go menagana.
Re leboga le Thabo, young people are well represented, they're in safe hands. Re lebogile cyber security and social media.
Thank you Letabo. About the bosenyi jwa mafaratlhatlha mo go bo Facebook le mo go bo WhatsApp.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and the members in the chamber.
Ke dumedise modulasetulo le maloko a leng teng mo ntlong.
My name is Dikgang Khomosoto and I'm from Sosville in Pelindaba.
Ke nna Dikgang
Khomosoto.
Khomosoto mme ke tswa ko Salisville ko Pelindaba.
And a township which bear some of the greatest noble leaders like Kgalema Motlanthe and Gwede Mantashe, Gwen Ramokopa, and the minister in the electricity, Hossein Suramokopa.
Tropo e re fileng bo mankge ba sepolotiki ba etsa bo Gwen Ramokopa ba etsa bo Hossein Suramokopa ba etsa bo Kgalema Motlanthe.
Yes, we came today to just support the bill, but we've got requests.
Re fa go tla go tshegetsa molaotlhomo mme go ntse jalo re na le ditsitsinyo.
Our request is that you should start involving us when you plan for us. You can't plan for us without us.
Kgang ke gore fa e le gore le tlile go bua le rona le dira gore le re akaretse ka dikgang tse e leng gore le rona di a re ama.
Maybe we should have a subcommittee that will oversee some of the things so that the community could feel safe when supporting such bills.
Re nne le komiti potlana e leng gore e tla kgona go thusana le lona le tlile jaaka e le komiti ka ntlha gore fa baagi ba bua le komiti potlana e ba fitlheletsa bana le tsheponyana mo komiting.
Because it is true that our country is being challenged.
Go bua nnete naga ya rona e mo mathateng la dikgwetlho tse dintsi.
Like our previous speaker was talking about cyber security.
Jaaka se buise sa tswang go tswa fa se buile ka bosenyi jwa mafaratlhatlha.
You know, as a South African resident, who knows that there are the resources in place that have been put for you?
Jaaka ke le moagi wa Aforika Borwa ke itse yang gore dilo tse di beilweng fale ke di diriswa tse e leng gore di lebaganeng nna.
As we entered into the chamber here, I tried to connect to my phone using your Wi-Fi, but it told me about, your information is not safe, they might steal. So it means we are failing on the security thing as a country.
Fa ke ne ke tsena fa ke ne ke leka gore ke dirisa Wi-Fi ya setheo se re leng mo go sona mme yaanong ya ntlha ya re o itlhokomele ke tlo tla nna mo kotsing ka ntlha gore ga kgokaganyo e ya rona e ga ya sireletsega.
Maybe it gives us fear because standing here we want to support the bill, but personally I fear that it will only give power to the wrong people who will only torture and maybe brutally injure some of our civilians.
ke thoba boroko se a ntshwenya ka ntlha gore se dira gore batho ba ska ba tshepa se dira gore matshela a batho a nne mo kotsing ba bangwe bile ba ka felletsa ba tlhokofaditswe.
Even the issue of foreigners, if you can remember back in the apartheid regime,
Le kgang e ya batswantle fa le ka gopola sentle ka nako e le ya maloba ya tlhaolele.
our freedom fighters were kept in hostels where they camped in their exile.
Balwela kgololesego fa ba ne ba le ko dinageng tse di kontle ba ne ba ya ko dikampeng ba sa kopane le baagi.
Not like these foreigners who are in South Africa who are just roaming around like they're in Lusaka.
E seng ba mo Afrika ba tswantle ba leng mo Afrika borwa ba tsamaelang fela ba itaola.
For example, there's Sunnyside, a mini heaven of drugs.
Kwa ko tropong ko motsethokong wa tshwane go thuke Sunnyside kore ko gona ke sentlhaga sa diritibatsi.
But yet our security system is doing nothing about it, even if some cell next to the gate of the police station.
Tshireletso ya rona ga ina sepe ba bangwe bile ba felletsa ba rekisa tsona diritibatsi tse mo kgorong ya kantoro ya sepodisi.
And again, we are somehow afraid that if we allow such much power to our forces, we might go back to the struggles and the suffering that our fallen unsung heroes have came across.
Me anong se se bontsha gore fa ekete re nyema moko jaanong ditoro tsele tsa balwela kgololosego ba ba sa tlholong ba le teng ba tlhokofetse e nna ekete kgaratlho ya bona ke a lefela.
Back in the 70s, during those years of the uprising, a student in Atteridgeville by Emasa Tech was brutally murdered by police officers who ran her down with a koyoko, a hippo.
Ka dinako tsele tsa bo 1976 go morutwana ka leina la Emma Sathekge ko Atteridgeville o ka dikhuduego tseo a neng a gatakwa ka koloi ke ele ya sepodisi ba ibitsa gore ke kayoko.
And even to date, no justice was served in that matter. Hence, we request and demand that please involve us, because we live and dwell among these vicious criminals.
Jaanong go le jalo re kopa gore le re akaretse ka ntlha gore re tshela mo gare ga tsona dinokwane tse.
And it will be easy to blow the whistle and fight the scourge of the Inkabis who are camping in all these hostels.
Go tle go nna bonolo gore re kgone go lwantsha bo Inkabi ba ba nnang ko di hostel ka ntlha gore re tshela le bona mo location kgotsa mo motseng.
Because currently their behavior is at the brink of catastrophe.
Maitshola bona fela ke a go senya le go ripitla.
So we need to revisit our laws and rules and bills and amendments so that we come with proper laws to protect our civilians in the country. Thank you.
A re lebeng dikgang tse re lebe melawana ya rona re sekaseke go ka leka go sireletsa naga ya rona. Ke a leboga.
Re lebogile ntate Dikgang.
Thank you, Mr. Dikgang.
Our session is scheduled to end at 1 o'clock.
Kopano ya rena e beakantšwe gore e tle e fele ka iri ya pele.
Now, with powers vested in me, I am going to allow another round.
Bjalo ka matla le gore ke file ona, ke tlo dumela go tšea round ye nngwe, tlo tšea matseo a mangwe a batho ba le gore ba nyaka go bolela.
Can I see by show of hands if there are still any other hands that would like to contribute?
Hle la itšang ka go emiša matsogo a lena, ge e ba le nyaka go tlo bolela.
Number 1, you will be number 2 that day, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and I see, is that a hand there, number 10 with the stripe? Yeah, we are going to take 10 and if time is permitting, we'll take another round. I see there's still 3 more hands. Let's first deal with the 10 hands that we have identified. Follow the same procedure. Tell us who you are, where you come from, express yourself in the language of your choice.
gomme re tlo tšea ona matsogo a lesome ba kgethilweng go tla fa gomme ge e le gore nako e sa dumela ka baka la gore ke bone matsogo a mangwe a mararo a tlaleletšo re tlo lefa sebaka le lena la tla lantšha maikutlo a lena o tla fa wa re botša gore o mang o tšwa kae gomme maikutlo a gago ke afe mabapi le molaokakanywa.
Thank you, sir. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay. I'm greeting all the people who are here,
Dumelang botlhe ba ba leng fa,
the ad hoc committee,
komiti ya nakwana,
the people who are around here.
baagi botlhe ba ba leng fano.
Yeah, my name is Franz Macheke.
Leina la ka ke Franz Majeke.
I'm from the AUCD, Africa Unemployment Coordination and Development.
Ke tswa ko mokgatlong wa Africa Unemployment Development Agency.
Yeah. The main problem of the unemployed people was saying the intelligence of South Africa. We like really to work the right way and do the right things with the unemployed people.
Rona baagi ba ba sa diring tota bothata ba bone ke gore ke tsa ntlha tsa botlhodi ba rata go dira thata le ba tsa botlhodi.
And we are saying the intelligence must work thoroughly in the homeless people, the young people who are around here, because our people are a vehicle of anything which is needed by the wrong people. Can I repeat it? No, se re se bolelang ke gore bana ba rena le batho ba bagolo ba rena ba ba leng kwa gae ke bona ditsela tsotlhe tsa go dirisiwa ke di-tool.
Our concern here is that our youth and our unemployed people are being utilized to commit crime.
Yes, and then as the intelligence, we are saying all over where we are, the homeless, the people who are sitting in the street, youngs, really, it seems we don't care of them. We would like you people to help us.
Re ne re kopa gore tsa botlhodi di dirisiwe go thusa bašwa ba rona ga mmogo le batho ba rona ba ba sa direng ba ba tletseng le mebila.
That is the main thing which we want to say as the unemployed people.
Ke ntlha tota e ke batla go e bua jaaka ke emela baagi ba ba sa direng.
And we are saying thank you for that. Happy to be here.
Ke a leboga ke itumela gore ke be ke lefa.
Re leboga Ntate Majeke. Can I kindly request that all those members who indicated that they want to speak, please come to the front and occupy the front row. Thank you so much. Please proceed, number 2. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Chairperson. I don't think I will even utilize 3 minutes.
Kele Songwane Napoleon Kele Viso, Sfanike Songwane, Keswa Kele Winterfeld, Ward 24.
My name is Napoleon Hlongwane from Winterfeld, Ward
24.
Ward 24.
Yeah, Hagi Stresha Letsoho, Kitswara Northwest.
When I stretch my hand, I can reach the Northwest Province.
So, I'll support the bill. I support the bill. Empa ne ke kopa ho bea selo se sengwe fela kore. Ke member ya CPF, I'm a CPF chairperson ko Tuwe Police
I
Station.
support the bill, but as a member of the
CPF.
CPF, I would like to raise some issues.
Yes, crime e a etsahala there, because I think le la rona.
We have a problem.
Ya crime
Our
e
biggest
etsahalang.
challenge is crime in our area.
And it is again ntho ya nyaope e.
Due to this drug called Nyaupe,
My concern now ke hore nyaope aina charge na because baba tshwara then the following day wa bua kare aina charge. So khopela re lona as bagolo ba rona le lebeleng hantle yona e.
my concern is this drug called Nyaupe because people are arrested for using it, but they come back. So we are just wondering, is it maybe legal
Yes.
to use Nyaupe? That's why people are not arrested.
Ke le member ya CPF. CPF are the crime fighters. So ne ke go kopa gore banke ba consadiwe ba lebellwe gore na bona ha ona se ba ka se fumanang moputsonyana o rileng na since ele di crime fighters le bona.
Re le baagi ba maloko a CPF tota re lwantsha bosenyi mme fela re batla go tlhaloganya. We also want to understand whether there's anything as CPF members that we can benefit from the state.
O ka re ke fedise ke a leboha.
Thank you very much.
Ra leboga Ntate Hlongwane. The next speaker.
Bingelela bonke abakhona.
I would like to greet everyone in here.
Mina ngumsibusiso wakampanza
My name is Sbusiso Mpanza
from Oliven Bosch, Ward 106.
from Olivian Bosch, Ward 106.
Engicela nje ukubeka la ukuthi singakwenza konke esikwenzayo.
What I would like to state here is that we can do everything that we do.
Yisangabantu. The most they're African.
We are still people, and most of us are Africans.
Ake sifunde kwabanye izizwe. Same like ama-Jewish.
We need to learn from other nations, let's say maybe the Jewish.
They are following balandela izinto zabo.
They follow their own things.
Tina kakhulukazi South African
We, especially the South Africans,
silahlekile entweni zethu.
we have lost our ways, especially in our things.
Ngoba nazi iphathimandla mangabe ishaya umthetho wazo.
Because even our leadership, when they come through with legislation,
They go down to the community.
bayehla ke baye phansi emphakathini.
Ngoba yonke into isuke emphakathini.
Because everything is about the community.
Ngoba uma ungabona ukuthi amadoda kakhulukazi ngikhuluma ngamadoda
Because
abobaba
if you could look, I'll speak directly about men.
obaba even eParliament abekho abamele obaba straight ukuthi le ipresident yabobaba men's forum.
There is no sort of like a forum for men, even in parliament. We do not have a men's forum there.
Abaqhamukayo baqhamuka ngama opportunity ukuthi one money.
Those that do come up, they come up through opportunities that they are trying to get or they are trying to enrich themselves.
Abakhi isizwe.
They are not building the nation.
Ngiyacela uziphathimandla ake nilandele spirituality.
I would request that our leadership listen and follow their spirituality.
Ngoba without spirituality we are nothing.
Ngoba ke ngaphandle kokuthi ke silandele umoya asizukuba ilutho.
Sesifana nehlahla, isihlahla if no roots esinazo impande zazo.
We are now like trees. If a tree does not have roots or the roots of a tree have gone rotten,
Because ubuntu bantu kuphelile.
because Ubuntu is now finished.
Ngathatha wena ngibuza president namhlanje.
I could take you and make you the president today.
Khona ozothi mina nansi imali.
There would be someone who will say, here's some money to me.
Ngiyacela futhi ngibuye la ukuthi ake sibukeni eZimbabwe.
I would also request that we look at Zimbabwe
Nibuke intelligence yaseZimbabwe.
and look at the intelligence at Zimbabwe.
Any information wrong,
Any information that is wrong,
bayayithatha bona bayideliver kwiParliament lapho.
they take it and they deliver it straight to their parliament.
Siyacela that intelligent ake isebenze.
We are requesting that our intelligence actually starts working.
Ngeke ukuthi umuntu ngoba unezibhamu eziwu10
It can't be that a person has, if a person has about 10 firearms,
bonke abantu sebemsaba.
then everyone or all the people are now scared or afraid of that individual.
Siyathanda nathi bakwethu ukuthi isizwe sethu sibe right.
We also wish and also would like to have our nation in a good space.
Abaholi bethu abazi ukuthi abantu babalekile.
Our leaders must know that the communities or the people are very important.
Konke abakwenzayo
In all that they do,
they concern abantu.
it must be concerning the communities or the people.
Thank you.
Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga Baba Mpanza. Andanezwe. The next speaker. Your 3 minutes start now.
Thank you, Chairperson,
Siyabonga sihlalo.
and your panel,
Ngokunjalo ke nethimba lakho
and the members
namalunga akhona
in the gallery.
khona lapha ke kulendlu.
First and foremost, I just wanted to say this,
Okokuqala nje bengifisa nje ukudlulisa lokhu.
is that now a country without an intelligence
Izwe elingenako ke ubuntloli
will perish.
lizawuphela.
By so saying, I mean, I concur and also approve that the GILEP
Ngokusho ke kanje ngisho ukuthi ke ngiyavuma futhi ke ngiyahambisana ukuthi ke iGILEP
should be approved in Parliament.
kuyofanele ke ivunywe lapha eParliament.
Now, what I wanted to say is that when we study at school, different schools, primary, high school, tertiary level,
Bengifisa ukusho ke ukuthi ke uma sifunda lapha ezikoleni ezahlukene ngabe ke kusemazingeni
we
aphansi
follow certain careers.
nasemazingeni aphezulu ngokunjalo nasema tertiaries siyasilandele ke imikhakha ehlukene.
I'm happy in this bill, in this draft bill, there is an allowance made for an academy.
Ngiyajabula ukuthi ke kulomthetho sivivinyo obekiwe lapha kukhona la kuvela khona ukuthi ke kuzoba khona ke isikhungo sokufunda
Which will be funded.
sizawuphiwa ke futhi nezezimali.
And I want to say that now not everybody can work as an intelligent person.
Ngifisa ukucacisa ukuthi ke akusiwo wonke umuntu ongasebenza ke lapha kwezomnhloli.
So it means that now those who are interested in working in the intelligence section,
Lokhu ke kuyochaza ukuthi labo abanesifiso sokuyosebenza lapha kwezomnhloli
their career must be added as a curriculum at tertiary level.
lezi zifundo zabo kufanele ke zifakwe lapha kwi-curriculum lapha kuma-tertiary.
Because when you work in the intelligence, you are sworn to secrecy.
Ngoba ke uma usebenza lapha kwezomnhloli uyaye ke uthatha isifungo semfihlo
About the security of your country,
mayelana ke nokuvikeleka okanye ke nezokuphepha kwezwe lakho
be it domestically or internationally.
ingabe khona lapha ngaphakathi kuleli lizwe noma ke emazweni angaphandle.
So it is my understanding that now, once our country is secured because of the intelligence that it has at its disposal,
Kuqonda kwami ke ukuthi emveni kokuba ke izwe lethu seliphephile ngenxa yobunhloli elinabo elizakhele bona
we will be able to counter
siyokwazi ukulwisana
any threat
nako konke okungase ke kube ke
that is
iziphuzo noma
that is directed at our country.
ezibhekiswe ezweni lethu.
You look at the situation that we are facing right now.
Uma ubheka ke isimo esibhekene naso njengamanje
Many of my fellow speakers here have spoken about the type of violence that is taking place in our communities.
abaningi ke sebekhulumile lapha phambi kwami bakhulume ke ngodlame noma ke ngobugebengu obenzeka emiphakathini yethu.
In terms of drugs and all that.
Kungaba ke mayelana nezidakamizwa noma nokunye okuningi.
And Chairperson, I'm not trying to be xenophobic,
Kahle kahle sihlalo angizami ke ukuba umuntu engazwani nabantu bangaphandle.
but I believe that now our intelligence must also do its work in terms of the people who enter our country
Kodwa ke ngikholelwa ukuthi ke ezomhloli bethu kufanele zenze umsebenzi wabo ikakhulukazi ke mayelana nabantu abangena lapha ezweni lethu.
that are not accounted for.
Laba ke abangabhaliswe indawo abangaziwa ndawo.
These are the kind of people
Ibona ke ilona uhlobo lwabantu lolo
who are causing all these social ills in our country.
elibanga ke zonke lezi zinkinga nezidubedube izwe lethu elibhekene nazo.
In conclusion, Chairperson,
Sengivala ke sihlalo
I'm still stressing that point of saying not everybody can become a person of intelligence.
ngisagcizelela ke kakhulu sihlalo ukuthi ke akusiwe wonke umuntu ongasebenzela ke ezomhloli.
But I believe that students who are at tertiary level
Kodwa ke ngiyakholwa ukuthi ke abafundi asebe lapha ezikhungweni ke ezemfundo ephakeme abafisa ukungena ke kuyo le intelligence
they must be given that opportunity.
abasizwe ke banikezwe lelo thuba.
I thank you.
Siyabonga.
Sorry, sir, we didn't get your name and where you're from. Yeah, no, you didn't tell us.
My name is Simon Petla.
Igama lami ngu Simon Petla.
I come from Mamelodi,
Ngiqhamuka lapha eMamelodi
Ward 6,
ku Ward 6.
and I am the chairperson of Mamelodi Older Persons Forum,
Futhi ke ngusihlalo weMamelodi Older Persons Forum.
as well as the technical advisor to Tshwane Older Persons Forum. Thank you.
Kanti ke futhi ngumxwayisi noma ke ngumuntu ke obonisana nosihlalo ke wayo le forum.
Siyabonga.
Thank you
Olandelayo.
very much.
Sanibonani nonke Parliament.
Greetings to everyone in Parliament.
Ngibonga kakhulu i-opportunity eningiphe lona namuhla ukuma lapha phambi kwenu.
Thank you very much for the opportunity that you have given me today.
Okhulumayo uDirector Mzamo Mngomezulu weMzamo Scawash and Drive Through. Ngibuya eTshwane Disability Forum lapha eMamelodi East.
Ngumzamo ke mina wakwamngomezulu futhi ke ngine car wash ngivela laphayana eMamelodi East.
I-organization engibuya kuyo iyo iTshwane Disability Forum.
The organization that I come from is Tshwane Disability Forum.
Nginesicelo lapha ngiyayisekela the bill.
I support the bill, but I have a request here.
Nginesicelo sokuthi i-intelligence kune umthetho sekelo lapha i-Employment Equity Act number 55 yango 1998.
In our constitution, there's an act which is known as the Employment Equity Act, number 55 of 1998.
Yes. Ikhuluma ngokuqashwa komuntu okhubazekile emsebenzini.
It speaks about the employment of the disabled people in job areas.
Ngiyabona ukuthi umthetho sekelo lona akuyona yonke ikampani eyolandelayo.
I can see that it is not all companies that follow the constitution with regard to this act.
Ngiyacela ukuthi intelligence uma ingake ingenele kuwo amakampani lawo icheke ukuthi umthetho sekelo lona uyalandelwa sikwazi ukuthi sisize abantu bethu abadisabled.
I request that the intelligence should be involved in making sure that these companies follow this act, in making sure that the disabled people are being employed.
Esikhathini esiningi uthola umuntu odisabled ayi breadwinner ekhaya.
In most cases, you find that a disabled person is a breadwinner at home.
So uma sinabazali futhi abanabantwana aba-disabled emakhaya.
We also have parents who have disabled children at our homes,
Of which abawatholi ama-opportunity ukuthi bangasebenzela abantwana babo laba aba-disabled ngenxa ye-age level.
Now, you find that that on its own creates a problem because these parents are unable to go and work for their disabled children because of their age.
Ngingathanda ukuthi uma nibhala umthetho lo ude bill nisikhumbule nathi abantu aba-disabled.
I would appreciate if, as and when you are busy drafting these acts, you should not forget about us, the disabled people.
Anginoba mude kakhulu ngibonga kakhulu ithuba.
I won't be that long, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu baba. Sicela olandelayo.
How are you?
Ninjani?
Last time, Mapogaram, started umsebenzi.
Last time the Boko Haram group took our jobs.
Abantu aba-disabled ba important.
Disabled people are very important.
Abanye bayahlaza. Bayahlaza.
Some people embarrass us.
Bangasinyathi.
They should not look down upon us.
Sasebenza emhlabeni parliament.
We are working.
Nane parliament nisicabangele.
We also request Parliament to consider us
Nisibize emsebenzini.
and call us when there are job opportunities
Ngoba abantu abamnyama
because black people,
asicabangelani.
we don't think for one another.
Sidla sisodwa.
We eat whatever we get
Boko Haram
ourselves. Boko Harams
akasicabangeli.
do not think for us.
Ayidla ayi-one.
They eat alone.
Nekunomsebenzi
When there's a job
badla
opportunity,
babodwa
they share the job among themselves
namafamily.
and their families.
Hayi, thank you.
Ngiyanthokoza. Igama.
Yimi Godfrey Mnguni, ngiye Ward 86.
Godfrey Bani?
Godfrey Mnguni, Ward 86.
Godfrey Nkuni, Ward 186?
86.
86.
Hayi, thank you.
Ngiyanthokoza.
Siyabonga Babu Godfrey. The next speaker.
No, thank you very much. My name is Ezra Letswalo.
Ngithokoze khulu ibizo lami ngingu-Ezara Litswalwa.
Well, I'm staying on two camps.
Ngisemikhakheni emibili ngijame lapha.
I'm from the ANC Provincial Executive Committee,
Ngisekomidini yesifunda ye-ANC.
but I also happen to be the chairperson of the Petition Standing Committee in the Gauteng
Kanti kodwa
Provincial Legislature.
ngingusihlalo ekomidini ethile khona lapha eGauteng.
I think I want to appreciate the time and space given to the residents of Gauteng
Ngithabela ithuba elinikezwa izakhamuzi zeGauteng
to engage on this critical bill.
ukuthi kuqalwane nalomthethomlingwa oqhakathekileko.
There's a number of points that I thought I should register,
Kukhona amaphuzu ambalwa engibawa ukuwathinda.
which we often are confronted with. I think it's a procedural issue in the bill.
Yindaba yekambiso kulukulu esivamise ukuhlangabezana nayo.
I think when you look into the bill,
Nawuqala umthethomlingwa lo,
it deals with a number of pieces of legislation binded as one.
kunemithetshwana ehlanganiswe yaba ngowodwa phakathi kwawo.
Which might often be confusing to an ordinary resident.
Okungenza ukuthi kube nokuhlangahlangana kuzakhamuzi.
To have an appreciation of their interlinkage.
ukuzwisisa ukuhlangana nokusebenzisana nokuhambisana kwayo.
But be that as it may, I think we appreciate the spirit around how the bill would have been structured.
Nofana kunjalo sithabela umoya okhona wokuthi kwakhiwe lo
I
mthethomlingwa.
must hurriedly say the bill is much more administrative.
Ngifuna ukuthi umthethomlingwa lo unzinze khulu kwezokuphatha.
Particularly as you read through, a number of clauses in the main
Now-
clause, I think 2.
Nawuqala ingatshana khulukhulu isigaba sesibili.
But I wanted to zoom into clause 11,
Ngifuna ukutjheja isigatshana sechumi nanye.
which talks about the Inspector General.
Esikhuluma ngomhloli Mazombe.
And I think one of the suggestions that we have is that we may need to relook or apply ourselves thoroughly on the non-renewable term, which is 5 years.
Esingafanele ukuthi ke siqalisise ngilo mqondo othi isikhathi sokuphatha kukamhloli Mazombe singavuselelwa okusikhathi esiminyaka emihlanu.
Well, of course, the standard practice is that the 5 years would be applicable across the board for the appointment of, accounting officers and so on.
Kuyinto ejayelekileko ukuthi imphathimandla eziziphendulelako zizokhethwa isikhathi esingaba minyaka leyo emihlanu.
But the terrain of intelligence is a bit different, and we need to have an appreciation of that.
Kufanele sizwisise ukuthi umkhakha wezobuhloli uhlukile kufuze sikutjheje khulu lokho.
Because a 5-year period leading an institution such as the ones prescribed in the bill may be easily undermined, because when you assume office, I mean, there's a planning that must happen. There's a whole formulation over the terrain, and such that even before 2 years are set in, already you are nearing the end of your contractual term.
Ngombana kunengi okungenako uma umuntu angene ofisini efana nale. Kucabange ukuthi ngomnyaka wesibili uzabe usesemahlelweni wokuthoma nokuklama. Kungenzeka ukuthi na uthoma ukuthi uyasebenza isikhathi sakho sokuphatha sesiyaphela.
And so you may find that the planning phase far outweighs the implementation, period that you might have as an
Uthola
Inspector
ukuthi
General.
isikhathi ofanele uhlele ukusebenzisa umsebenzi wakho nebizelo lakho sidlula isikhathi lapho sewusebenza khona kileso sikhundla okhethelwe sona.
Let me not overemphasize that point. I think we'll crystallize it into comments, written inputs.
Singahlali khulu lapho sizalenza buludlana ngokuletha inchukumiso.
Clause 18 speaks about a training academy.
Isigaba sechumi nobunane sikhuluma ngeziko lokubandula
Which,
i-training academy.
which in essence limits it, quite limited to cooperation with, institutions of higher learning, of course, both domestically as well as international.
Kuyihunyeza khulu uma kukhulunywa ngamaziko wokufunda uma umadanisa nalawo wenchaba.
But there has to be provision
Kufanele kube nesiqalelelo kulomthetho
for
mlingwa.
instances of possible recruitment of people who may not necessarily be within higher institutions of learning.
Kube nendlela yokuthi kungaqatshwa abantu noma bangekho ezikweni lefundo ephakemeko.
So it needs to be much more organic, because there may be possibilities where the intelligence community might identify somebody who has got the necessary abilities for them to be recruited.
Kufanele kube nendlela yokuthi iziko lezobuhloli lingakhona ukumbona umuntu onamakhono wokuthi asebenze kulomsebenzi wobuhloli.
And so I really think that needs to be, considered. Of course, we're not enforcing it. We're saying possibly part of the talking points there should be about that issue.
Siyakuchukumisa nokho lokho asigandelele ukuthi nasele nikhulumisana ke nikutshetshe nalokho.
And then lastly, it's the issue around building or infusing within the bill cross and checks balances, because subversion of intelligence, coordination of intelligence services can often happen within the very same platforms within which that intelligence needs to be guided.
Okhunye kufanele kutshejwe khulu indlela yokuhlanganiswa ukubalekela ukuthi khona ngaphakathi kweziko lezobuhloli kungaba khona ukuphechuka okwenzekako ezikweneli.
Of course, in the parental legislation, it features, but it features passively. So you may need to be much more expansive and elaborate around what are the internal mechanisms to manage it as such. So that we don't have a subversion, being a manifest.
Emthethweni omkhulu kuyavela khona kodwa kulesi sichukumiso sesikhibelelo akuveli kuhle kanti kuqhakathekile ukuthi kuchetshwe lokho.
Yeah. And then lastly, one of the critical features, because the anomalous thing, I'm in the legislature. Of course, it's centralized and national, but the interface with provincial administrations may also have to be well articulated and strengthened. It's there, but it may need to be strengthened.
Kungafanele ukuthi umthethomlingwa lo uqiniswe khulu iye ngikhona kezokubethwa komthetho kodwa ke kufanele kube nendlela yokuhlanganisa okwenzeka ezweni mazombe nokwenzeka esigabeni sesifunda
So that there are no synapses and gaps.
kungabi nengikhala.
I'm sure one of the things that you are picking up from the inputs that have been made by the residents here are day-to-day practical issues on the ground about how they are being harassed by specific, enclaves of gangsters, of criminals, and all of that. It suggests that we have got a top-bottom approach, and the space in the middle might be a miss.
Ngiyathemba niyelele ukuthi inchukumiso ezivela emphakathini zikhuluma ngezinto ezisithinda ngamalanga ngakho ke akukafanele ukuthi ukubethwa kwalomthetho kube ngokusuka ngaphezulu kuze phasi kunesikhala esisalako maphakathi.
Yeah, I think those are the inputs, but I think the other thing, the media statement that went out announcing public engagements also spoke about strengthening of the joint committee.
Umbiko osimemo salomhlangano siye sakhuluma nangokuqiniswa kwekomiti ehlanganyelweko.
And so it would have assisted if that could have also been articulated so that we've got an appreciation of some of the newly introduced measures to really strengthen oversight, accountability and so on.
Besizokuthabela kakhulu nakade lokho bekungavezwa lapha ukuthi ngimaphi amagadango akade azokuthathwa wokuqinisa amagadango wokutshejisisa ngokusebenza kwale komiti ehlanganyelweko.
And notwithstanding all of those observations and inputs, we do support the bill.
Nangaphandle kwakho konke lokho kunye sikuvezako siyawusekela umthethomlingwa lo sithokoze khulu.
Thank you so much, sir. The next speaker.
Thank you, Chair.
Ngithokoze khulu sihlalo.
I would like to greet everybody that is here.
Nginothisa nonke nilapha.
My name is Mandla Ntlapho.
Ngingumandla Ntlapho.
I come from Pretoria West.
Pretoria West.
Former councillor of the ward, former member of this council chamber.
Ngangililunga
Public representative also in the ward.
Bekodwa ngimjameli kule ward.
And currently functioning within the Democratic Alliance.
Ngisebenza ngaphakathi kwehlangano ye-Democratic Alliance.
And I'm here to just bring through a submission on behalf of the Democratic Alliance at large.
Kuneshukumiso engiba ukusiletha ebujameni be-Democratic Alliance.
If you don't mind, I will be reading from the notes just to make sure that I don't leave anything out.
Nani ngivumelako ngizakufunda ama-note engiwaphetheko ukuqinisekisa ukuthi akunanto engiyitshiyako.
Here are a few statements that we have as the Democratic Alliance
Nazi intatimende esinazo-ke njenge-Democratic
with regards to the
Alliance
proposed bill.
mayelana nomthethomlingo ochukunyiswako lo.
Number one, as it stands in this bill, it expands the definition of national security, making it so wide that it would allow the intelligence services to spy on individuals and organizations in South Africa
Ngendlela okujameke ngayo kulomthethomlingwa kwenza ngathi iziko elichukunyiswa kweli namkha umthethomlingwa lo uzokwenza ukuthi kuhlolwe ngitsho nezakhamuzi zeSouth Africa
who are involved in lawful political activity
abasebenza emhlanganweni zepolitiki
Advocacy.
ngokusemthethweni, abachochozeli,
protest, protest,
abangongoyilako,
and dissent.
nalaba abaphikisana nekambiso.
One of the very reasons why the review is being done is because the State Security Agency was specifically used to prop up politicians. And this is a prime example of how this bill seems to have been written by those who want more of the same.
Lokhu kuke kwasetshenziswa ngaphambili bosopolitiki, yingakho manje sisekukhona indlela yokuthi akubuyekezwe umthetho lo.
Having the intelligence services acting in a police state atmosphere with one aim, which is to keep the governing party in power.
Umnqopho walokhu kusebenzisa iziko lezobuhloli njengesipholisa kukhutshwe ihlangano ebusako njenganje embusweni.
Secondly,
okwesibili,
the high-level review panel report of 2018
umbiko wepaneli yango 2018
stated that the pool of those who needed to be vetted was far wide.
Uye watsho ukuthi isibalo namkha umthamo wabantu ekufanele bahlolisiswe unabe khulu.
And yet this proposed bill seems to expand the list of those who must be subjected to security clearance processes.
Kodwa lo mthethomlingwa ukhuluma nje ngabantu ekufanele bahlungwe ukubonwa ukuthi amagama wabo ajamele ukuthi angaba ngaphephileko na.
While at the same time increasing and not decreasing the powers of the minister.
Kwandiswe kodwa kungancitshiswa amandla namagunya kaNgqongqotjhe.
It is vague.
Awuhlathululi kuhle.
It is threatening to the civilians.
Uthusela izakhamuzi.
It is very poorly drafted.
Awukaklanywa kuhle.
There is, for example,
nasi isibonelo,
the determination that there be mandatory vetting of any person or institution of national security interest.
Isiqundo sokuthi kufanele kuhlungwe nafana kuhlolwe nofana ngubani kwenziwe buthwileni ngomuntu omunye nomunye.
Determined by who?
Ngubani othatha isiqundo leso?
By a politician wanting to oust a competitor?
Isiqundo leso singathathwa ngusopolitiki ofuna ukukhupha esikhundleni umuntu aphikisana naye.
It must be tightened up in terms of definitions.
Kufanele uqiniswe ukuya ngokwehlathululo.
It must be crystal clear, and it was supposed to stop the minister of the day from meddling in the day-to-day workings of the intelligence services.
Kufanele uqiniswe nangendlela ukuthi ungqongqothe angakhoni ukufaka inyawo emisebenzini yangemihla yaleli ziko
Acting as
lezokuhlola.
if they had the right to use the services as a personal army.
Basebenzisa bekwenze lokhu ngathi banegunya lokusebenzisa izikweli njenge ziko lokuzivikela.
But it is not clear how that has in any way been tackled at all.
Akuhlathuluki kuhle ukuthi ngikupho kwenziweko ukulungisa indawana leyo.
3.
Okwesithathu,
My biggest concern is around the definition of national security.
umnako wami omkhulu umayelana nokuphepha kwezenarha.
The new definition is now far wider, and it has moved from the intelligence services dealing with threats to our constitutional order to a vague and all-encompassing line, which is any opportunity or potential opportunity to pursue, among others, national values, to pursue.
Ihlathululo le nawiqala seyibebanzi khulu ayisakhoni ukuthi inqophisise efanele umsebenzi walomthethomlingwa ukwenze.
Among others, national values,
hlangana nokhunye njengokuqhakatheka kwamagugu wesitshaba,
which are then turned into a national security matter.
Ebese imfundiso lezo zichugululwe zibe yindaba yezokuphepha kwezenarha.
It seems totally arbitrary and allowing of subjective decisions.
ibonisa kuyindlela yokuthatha inqundo ngokuzicabangela kwabantu.
Decisions taken by people who may or may not have a political or even criminal motive of spying on citizens.
Inqundo ezingenziwa ebantwini abanganayo nehloso yokuthi babezinhloli ngokwepolitiki kodwa abantu abazenzela nje imisebenzi yabo yangemihla.
Number 4,
Kwesine,
in the current act,
emthethweni wagadesi
national security is a matter of protecting the constitutional order.
indaba yokuphepha kwenarha kufanele kube indaba yokuvikela umthethosisekelo enarheni.
But this version pushes what it claims are shared values and interests.
Manje lo mthethomlingwa uza nendlela yokuthi awazimfundiso ezihlanganyelweko
Which are not defined.
ezingakahlathululwa.
And then goes after those and which goes after those who
Mr. Nhlapo, my sincere apology. I've already given you 8 minutes. Seeing that your submission is in writing, may I kindly request that you hand it over to our staff so that we afford others an opportunity to also
Thank you, Chair.
participate. Thank you so much, Mr. Nhlapo.
Thank you, Chair.
Sinikele abanye inchukumiso ungazidlulisa etafuleni sikwazi ukunikela abanye ithuba.
The next speaker.
Good morning. My name is J.N. Mukwena.
Thobela, leina la ka ke JN Mokwena.
I'm from Gauteng, and the city of Tshwane.
Ke tswa Gauteng ka fasega toropo kgolo ya Tshwane.
I'm a leader of What's Forum, it's Workers, Occupiers, Tenants, Dwellers Forum, which is established to champion the interest of labor tenants, occupiers, workers, and farm dwellers.
Ke nna moetapele wa batho ba e le gore ba dula ka mo metseng ya batho ke emetše gape le bona badudi ba dipolaseng.
I've listened to most of the speakers. However, even if we received this documentation late, we were not aware they are available in the government gazette. But however, we have gone through it, this bill, and we support that the amendment is correct and it must happen, and it was long overdue.
Ke kwele di boletše gomme ke be ke sa tsebe gore gabotsotse go na le kopano ya mokhutano ka baka la gore a sanga ka bona ka kua kuranteng ya mmušo yona government gazette le go le bjalo re ema fa re tlo thekga tšona diphetošo tše e leng gore go šišintšwe go di dirwa gana ka mo molaokakanyong woo.
South African intelligence is very weak.
Bohlodi ba Afrika Borwa bo tloga bo le bo le gore bo ne le bokoa kudu.
Very weak throughout its structures. You may call defense, police, NIA, very weak.
Makala a ona ka moka a kwana le gore a ne le bokoa maphodisa NIA le bona ba sešole.
And they have left this country's citizens very vulnerable.
Gomme ba tlogetše badudi ba naga ye ba sena thušo e le gore ba ka e.
The bill might be amended, put a strong amendment there, strong acts, strong laws, but the warm body that are meant to protect and adhere to that are absent, are not there.
Molao o ka fetolwa gomme wa hlabollwa wa kgona go ba molao o maatla eupša batho ba e le gore ba tla tshwanela go šoma go tsentšha wona molao o tirišong ke batho ba e le gore ba tlo re palediša go tšwela pele.
I listened to two speakers who was here, the one who went out now, making a good presentation, and the one that said is working at the provincial petition structure, wherever. I listened to them speaking about the minister, and then I also, it was very much interesting that they talk about the minister who is, who must get more term. That is the previous speaker. And then the other one said, no, he is getting more powers.
Ke kwele go bolelwa di boleditše le gore di šetše di boletšwe ke kwele ba bolela ba tšweletša dintlha tše dingwe tše bohlokwa gomme o mongwe o boletše fa a bolela ka tona a re tona o swanetše go fiwa nako ye telele gomme o mongwe o ile a re
He is getting too much powers.
o ile a ganetša a re tona o na le o fiwa maatla a mantši.
Here our interest is to have professionals within the structures that are not politically, linked. So that even if this minister is doing corruption, is going tomorrow, the other 3 years, 4 years, but these officials must remain there as people who are very neutral.
Gomme mono wa rena ke gore gona mo go tša bohlodi re be le bašomi ba e leng gore ga se bona maloko a mekgatlo ya dipolotiki gore le ge o ka tla wa dira gore mohlomongwe ka morago ga mengwaganyane e mmalwa re tona a tšwe go tsene o moswa ba tšwele pele e le batho ba e le gore ga ba kgethe mahlakore.
I quickly want to run away from eating more time and get straight to the point that we as Watts Forum and the people that we are representing, we feel that something must happen now.
Gomme ke nyaka gore ke ska senya nako ye ntši ke tlhaloše gore rena bjalo ka forum ya di-wate re ikwa gore go ne le se sengwe se le gore se swanetše se direge le gona se swanetše se direge ka potlako.
And we also want to make you aware that we are not even contesting any elections. We support any progressive organization that will help us to move forward.
Gape ke laetše fa gore le rena a re tlo tsenela dikgetho gore re kgethiwe bjalo ka mokgatlo wa sepolotiki re thekga mokgatlo wo mongwe le mongwe wa sepolotiki o e leng gore o iša naga ya rena pele.
Now, in business,
In conclusion,
and in business, I want to speak about 3 things where you are sitting there giving me less time.
Ge ke tswelela ke tlo bolela ka dintlha tše tharo tša mabapi le kgwebo.
There is a problem there, serious one, that people now, as we speak, there are more people who are kidnapped and are business people. And as they are kidnapped, your intelligence, where is it?
Go ne le bothata be bogolo ka mo nageng yo go ne le borakgwebo ba bantši ba e le gore ba thupša gomme ge bantši ba thupša ka yona tsela yo
They are targeting these investors, and then they are, as they what you call kidnap them, they make them to pay a large amount of money.
gomme go thupša bona batho ba e leng gore ba tla go beeletša ka mo nageng ya rena gomme morago ga gore ba thupše bona bathupi ba bona ba nyaka tšhelete e ntši gore ba ba lokolle.
And the other thing is that your banks and your cell phone companies, the network, cell phone networks, all of them, you may find that our people, our vulnerable people, who most of them might not understand this thing, are phoned by scammers every day, and they are milking their money. They are doing scam deals, and then, there are a lot of things that are happening. Where is the intelligence?
Gomme bjalo o ka no ba o lemole gore dipenka tša rena le tšona di-company tšona tša di-cell phone tša go aba ditirelo tša di-cell phone ba leletšwa tšatši ka tšatši ba leletšwa ke bona batho ba e le gore ba leka go senya ba leka go itira batho ba e le gore a se bona ba nyaka go senya bjalo ge go le bjalo ra ipotšiša gore bohlodi bja naga bokae.
And then lastly now,
yeah, thank you, sir. I've already given you 7 minutes. You can submit other input in writing. Thank you so much. The next speaker.
Ngiyabingelela sanibonani.
Thobela.
Ninjani nonke eParliament? Siyabonga.
How are you in Parliament? Thank you very much.
Elami
Uxolo baba, when your 3 minutes is over, you will hear a sound. So please proceed.
Uma ngabe ke uzwa ngingqongqoza kusho ukuthi isikhathi sakho sesiphelile semzuzu emithathu. Uma uzwa ukuthi qo wazi ukuthi isikhathi sakho sesiphelile imizuzu emithathu.
Uma ngikhuluma la eParliament.
As I speak here in Parliament,
Abantwana bethu bayaphela.
our children are perishing.
Bengicela ukuthi kuqiniswe umthetho.
My request is that you need to strengthen the laws,
Kakhulu kulabo abathengisa idakamizwa.
especially those who are selling drugs.
Ilizwe liphela sibhekile.
Our country is, diminishing in front of our eyes,
And eliqedwa ngabantu bangaphandle.
and it is finished by people who are from outside the
Oh.
country.
Okunye futhi abogogo nabomkhulu abanazindlu.
Another burning issue is that our grandfathers and our grandmothers do not have houses.
Mawuthi uyabheka umuntu wangaphandle unendlu.
But when you look, you'll find that someone from outside has a house.
Iningi futhi lala elokishini alisebenzi.
The majority of people who are staying in the location are unemployed.
Mawuthi uyabheka abantu bangaphandle bayasebenza.
But when you look, you will notice that foreigners are working.
Ngicela ukuthi iParliamente bonke abahlezi babhekisise lokho.
I request that the Parliament should look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga baba.
Thank you, Baba.
One, two. Okay. I greet you all
Ngiyanibingelela nonke
in the name of peace, democracy,
egameni ke loxolo nentando yeningi
and freedom for all.
nenkululeko yawo wonke umuntu.
Before I asking the question,
Ngaphambi kokuba ke ngibuza umbuzo,
I would like to ask you, the guys who are sitting on the podium there,
ngicela ke ukubuza nina enhleli lapho phambili.
are you a member of the team so-called intelligence?
Ngabe nina ningamalunga aliqembu elibizwa ngokuthi i-intelligence?
If yes, one of you may stand up and tell us what is the work, what is the duties of the intelligence?
Uma ngabe ke ningamalunga aleqembu le-intelligence, omunye wena kasukume asitshele ukuthi ke ngabe yini leqembu le-intelligence noma yini imsebenzi ye-intelligence.
So if ever there is no one of you are in a member of this team,
Manje ke uma ngabe kungekho phakathi kwenu oyilunga laleqembu,
what we are going to do in order to proceeding way forward,
yini ke into esizoyenza ukuze siqhubekele phambili?
to what we got to eradicate all of this form that is something that is happening in this country.
Uqeda ke zonke lenkinga esibhekene nazo kulezwe lethu.
Because there is a law enforcement agencies,
Ngenxa yokuthi ke kukhona phela amaphoyisa abuka ukuthi ke umthetho uyalandelwa.
what is the working venture together with those guys, so-called intelligence team?
Manje ke labantu bambisana kanjani nalabo ke ababizwa ngokuthi iqembu le-intelligence team?
Okay. My question is that,
Manje ke umbuzo wami uthi,
what are the duties of the team, so-called intelligence?
yini imsebenzi yale qembu elibizwa ngokuthi intelligence?
Because foreigners coming to our country,
Ngenxa yokuthi ke abantu bokufika beza lapha ezweni lethu,
but this team, so-called intelligence, does not do anything.
kodwa ke le qembu lalaba ke abayizinhloli alenzi lutho.
The team working venture together with the law enforcement agencies or what?
Ngabe ke leqembu lezinhloli lisebenzisana namaphoyisa noma kanjani? Or what?
Our borders, our border gates,
Imncele yethu
law enforcement agencies are taking bribes.
uma ke uya lapha emnceleni yethu uzothola ukuthi ke labo ke ababhekane nezomthetho bayamukela imali lezi abanika zona ngasese
from illegal immigrants.
Eyimalini noma ebantwini abangena ezweni ngokungemthetho
To pass freely
ukuze nje badlule ngokukhululeka
into our country,
bangene ezweni lethu
but still hoping there are intelligence
kodwa ke phela sithemba ukuthi bakhona laba abasebenza ngobunhloli
to partake on stopping those people who are coming in our country.
ukuze phela bazobamba iqhaza ekuvimbeni labantu abangena ezweni lethu.
But on my conclusive now,
Uma ke sengiphetha
where is the offices of the intelligence are based?
ngabe ke akuphi amahhovisi alaba bezinhloli.
Thank you very much.
Ngibonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga baba. Our last
Thank you very
speaker.
much. Isikhulumi sethu sokugcina.
Good day. My name is Bongani Manaka.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu ngiyanibingelela futhi igama lami ngubongani Ranaka.
I'm a citizen.
Ngisakhamuzi.
On clause 1, I just want to say that your definition of espionage is descriptive, it's not prescriptive. It doesn't relate to act, any act. Like in other countries, we have got espionage act. In this country, we don't have that.
Laphayana ke ku clause 1 ngifuna ukusho nje ukuthi igama elithi ke espionage alicaci kahle noma licaciswanga kahle lizama nje ukuthi libe descriptive hayi ukuthi libe prescriptive.
I would also want to suggest that you delete the sections that start with T. You cannot write all threat list in the act. Threats change.
Ngicela ukuthi
So you
ke
cannot write that.
nisuse nje lamagama aqala ngo T anikwazi kuloko nibhala amagama akhuluma ngokusabisa.
On clause 2, I would like to suggest the different approach, similar to the approach of appointment of Inspector General.
Ngicela ke lapha ku clause 2 ukuthi ngilungise indaba efana naleyo kuqala le ekhuluma ke ngo Director General.
In most countries, the Director Generals of any agencies go through the nomination process and all that two-third parliamentary voting is taking place. In that way, we are trying to depoliticize the agency.
Kwamanye amazwe ke uzothola ukuthi uma kuqokwa noma kukhethwa uqondisi jikelele uDirector General kuyaye akhethwe ngendlela efanele kulandelwe le 2/3 majority eyenziwa lapha eParliament ukuzama phela ukuthi kungabi bikho kakhulu ezo politiki.
The whole bill doesn't mention the Security Council.
Ibill iyonke nje ayikhulumi ngezokuphepha noma iSecurity Council.
I would like to suggest the following things on clause 7 to 12.
No kuke okunye ngifuna ukuthi ngikuveze noma ngikusho lapha kusuka ku clause 7 kuya ku clause 12.
In pursuant of the Basic Labor Relations Act, the intelligence services together with the SNDF were excluded to have internal mechanisms such as your reconciliation and mediations, and that those things are not there.
Khona ke izinto ezimalana nokuqhashwa laphayana ezingavezwanga.
So in these instances, we would like to request that the issues with the conditions of service must take to cognizance that clause of the internal mechanism in response to the Matthew Commission that was done by the previous
Besicela ke
station.
ukuthi izinto ezimalana nama conditions of service zibhekwe laphayana njengoba ke kwenziwa kwisincomo sika Matthew Commission noma iCommission ka Matthew
Or the MI5 and 6, of course.
noma ke MRI 5 or 6.
All members of SSA must be subjected or go to academy and be accommodated by academy.
Manje ke bonke abantu be SIA kumele bahambe baye kulesikhungo sokufundela umsebenzi wobuhloli.
This can be found in the border management where it's prescribed that.
Loko ke ungakuthola lapha na ku border management la kubhalwe khona.
We need to be also cognizant of the fact that the bill came before there was a white paper.
Fanele ke sazi ukuthi ngaphambi kokuba kuze le bill le bekhona i-white paper.
There was no white paper that informs and anchor this bill into.
Kuloku ke azange ibe khona le white paper ezoqinisa ke le bill.
I would like to also that in the terms of services, the concept of professionalism as approved by cabinet must be included. Thank you.
Ngicela ukuthi ke nobu professional bungene njengoba ke kusho i-cabinet ngibonga kakhulu.
Thank you so much. There were 3 hands. Due to time, I will give each 2 minutes.
Ke a leboga, go ne le diatla tše dingwe tše tharo.
Can those 3 hands please come to the front?
Ka baka la gore
And then we close.
ye e lekaneng, ke tlo fa o mongwe le o
Please,
mongwe wa
sir,
lena
come.
metsotso e mebedi. Ke tlo kgopela gore le tle fa
It
pele.
seems as if others are covered, you are the only hand.
Go etetše ka ba bangwe ba ga
You
ba sa
had your
nyaka go bolela.
opportunity, sir, you can't
Ke
come
wena
on
o
twice.
nnoši.
Yeah, you spoke, sir. So there's only 1 hand, and the last hand will be the gentleman outside.
Ke seatla se tee fela, gomme sa
Thank you.
mafelelo-felelo e tla ba,
We did
sela
not,
ke se bonang ka kua ntle.
we did not leave anyone behind.
Ga gone gore mo tlogetšeng ka ntle.
Please proceed, introduce yourself and where you're coming from. You have 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay, yo buang yo ke Karabo Sekgopolo.
My name is Karabo Sekgopolo.
Ke tlhaga ke le ko Soshanguve. Ke o mongwe wa leloko la Community Policing Forum.
From Soshanguve, I am a member of
Community Policing
Community Policing Forum.
CPF.
CPF ka bokhutshwane. Sa ntlha ke tlo rata go ka dumedisa.
First of all, I would like to greet the House at large.
Sa bobedi ke dumalana le molaotheo o go bolelwa ka one o wa intelligence.
Secondly, I agree with the bill on intelligence.
Mme se se botlhokwa se se utlwisang botlhoko ke gore South African border gates, they are wide opened.
Pealo, se sengwe sa one another important thing ke gore melelwane ya Afrika Borwa ga e a thibega.
Empa re bolela ka the intelligence mo within our country.
But we are talking about intelligence in our country.
Border tsa South Africa, it's a free flow traffic ya di drugs and human trafficking.
Pealo di border tša Afrika Borwa ke tše le gore di okobatši le go rekiša ga batho go a direga gana mo.
And there's a lot of criminal activities due to those open borders.
Ebile go ne le ditiro tše dintšhi tša bosenyi gana ka mo ka baka la melelwane ye e leng gore e phela e bulegile.
How ka bona sekai, all our parliamentary government, they bana le di bodyguards.
For example, you can see all our parliamentary
Parliamentary members, they bana le di bodyguards.
members, they have bodyguards.
Empa rena, ordinary citizen, re feletsa re tshaba even our security members.
Now, us as ordinary residents and citizens, we are even afraid of our security personnel.
Yes.
In conclusion,
In closing, intimidate. In closing, re tlo go leka gore South African Law Agency ba improve all the access e leng teng mo gae.
So they must improve all the access that we have here in the country.
Because it can benefit only the baba roba molao.
It seems as if it benefits only those who break the laws.
Rona poor ordinary citizens who are at the receiving end.
Rena re le maAfrika Borwa fela ke rena ba ile gore re batšwa setlhabelo.
di border tse go tsena di drug, those people ba dira boithatelo within the country.
Drugs come in through these porous borders, and these immigrants do as they wish in our country.
And obotla go expect at the end of the day, ira ha go le yalo, ba batla gore CPF ka one bone they are doing their job voluntarily, ba ya go tsena ba faceane le mathata a go tshwana le.
And at the end of the day, they would like to ask, they ask the CPF to come assist resolve these challenges that have been caused by porous borders.
I thank you.
Ke a leboha.
Our last speaker.
Siboledi sa mafelelo.
Ngiyabonga. Igama King George from Mamelodi East.
Ke a leboga, leina la ka ke King George, ke tswa Mamelodi East.
Yes, under organization disability Tshwane Disability Forum.
Ke ka fase, under the Tshwane Disability Forum.
Yes, ngiyabonga kakhulu nge-intelligent bill. Asazi well sisafunda okunye la, but
We thank you very much for the intelligence bill. We are not quite sure yet. We are still reading some of the things.
yeah, into engithanda ukukhuluma ngayo i-disability bathini gender domestic workers with disability.
I'd like to speak on domestic workers who are living with disability.
Ngithanda ukuthi ngingenelele naku gender based violence.
I would also like to touch on gender-based violence.
Esikhathini esiningi kakhulu bathi gender based violence against women and children.
In most instances, they say gender-based violence against women and children.
Yeah, abasho ukuthi against men, but only women and children.
They do not mention men, they only mention women and children.
So amadoda ayahlupheka kakhulu kuloko.
Men are suffering because of that.
Khona manje kunamadoda abanjiwe kakhulu ngenxa yabafazi.
As we speak now, there are men who are in custody or who are arrested because of women.
Yes, ngithanda umbuso unakekele inkinga enjena.
I would like our leadership to pay some attention to such problems.
Yes, mongabheka manje maningi amadoda asejele ngenxa yabafazi.
If you could look now, there is quite a lot of men who are in prison because of women.
Yebo nezingane zabo.
And their children as well.
Futhi abafazi ababula amadoda bakhona abafazi ababula amadoda. Yebo kukhona.
There is also a scourge where women kill men.
Yeah,
That
so-
is something that is actually happening.
Yeah, so bengithanda kakhulu bayibheke nayo le gender based violence against men.
I would request that they look attentively into this issue of gender-based violence against men.
Yes, ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
On behalf of the committee, I'd like to take this opportunity and thank you so much for your constructive contribution, inputs, and recommendation that will assist us to enhance the bill.
Egameni ke laleli committee ngicela ke ukunibonga kakhulu ngeziphakamiso zenu nembono yenu ezosilekelela ke ukuthi ke sikhande kahle okanye sakhe kahle lo mthethosivivinyo.
I'd like to also remind you that the written submission, the closing date has been extended to the 15th of February 2024.
Ngicela futhi ukunazisa ukuthi ke ithuba lokufaka ke izethulo ezibhaliwe seleluliwe kuze kube ke umhla ka 15 kuFebruary ku2024.
Anyone who wishes to make written submission, please send your inputs to the following email address:
Onesifiso ke sokufaka ke isiphakamiso esibhaliwe siyacela ke nithumele izethulo zenu kule email address elandelayo:
glab2023@parliament.gov.za. I repeat, glab2023@parliament.gov.za, to the attention of Aluto Sombek.
Kuzawuba ke uGLAB 2023@parliament.gov.za ibhekiswe kubani sihlalo?
Aluto Sombek.
ibhalwe ke ibhekiswe ku Alutho Sombexa.
Thank you so much. I
Siyabonga.
officially declare the meeting closed.
Siyabonga kakhulu sesiyawuvala ke umhlangano.